Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
It is finally here. It is the NFL draft that gets underway tonight. First round, Dallas Cowboys currently set to pick 24th. As of now, Houston Texans do not have a first-round draft pick. By the way, you can catch all on both San Antonio's Sports Star 94.1 and San Antonio's ESPN 1250 beginning at 6 o'clock. How about Zeke Elliott making a return to Dallas? Cowboys are talking to him. The Blitz starts now.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is finally draft day. The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. It's like Christmas morning here at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road.
It seems like we've been talking about this since the Super Bowl ended. And so it's finally here. I'm happy about that. No better place to be than the Roo Pub.
Well, and look, you want to get out here early. You got baseball on right now, and the Astros actually have a lead as we speak. So enjoy it while it lasts, because history this year says it won't. But they are leading the Cubs right now 1-0. So come watch some afternoon baseball and get ready for the draft, which begins in 4 hours, 58 minutes, and 21 seconds from right now.
Well, I love this because I think ESPN has got this pre-draft pregame show.
Yes.
It started about, 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, it's earlier than that.
Yeah, and so they've been going. And it's a lot of fun, though, a little preview. I'm tired of talking about it, though.
Are you mocked out?
I'm mocked out. I want to see what happens.
Drafted out.
Although I want to see some drama tonight, man.
Yeah, drama?
Some trades. Some people moving up and down. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
That's what I want. And we know the first pick's going to be Caleb Williams.
Well, that's it. I think the first 3, there will be no drama.
Could be.
And then I think the fun really will begin. And as we get ready for draft day, and we're here on draft day, as we get ready for the draft, which is just a couple hours away, and I've got a video on our San Antonio Sports Star social media channels, and I ask a question. What do you want the Cowboys to do, and what do you think the Cowboys will do? Because those could be 2 very different answers, because none of us really trust Jerry Jones to pass up a shiny toy if you get a chance. Like, I want a 10-year starter on the offensive line. Draft a fat guy. I don't care if it's a tackle. I don't care if it's a center. Because this draft is loaded with that, and the Cowboys need that. But if there's a great wide receiver there, or
quarterback.
Or a quarterback. What if the Cowboys draft a quarterback?
I'd love that.
But Jerry, if you're thinking offensive lineman, you're talking about a dually truck, right? Or you get a Ferrari. You're going to pick the Ferrari. That's Jerry Jones' MO, right?
It is. And the Cowboys always seem to do better when they draft best player available instead of need. That's what everybody criticized the Cowboys, or a lot of folks did, when they drafted C.D. Lamb. But at the time, he was the best player available. So, look, they need offensive linemen. There's no question about that. They could use a defensive guy, too, lineman. But if that player is there, it would not surprise me. But, Jason, I'm not even sure the Cowboys will pick tonight. And if they do, it might be back at 30 or 31.
And I kind of hope that happens.
Yeah.
In reality, and you think about the draft tonight and all the different things that the Cowboys can do. If you're going to take an offensive lineman, whether you're talking about Guyton or Mims or the center from Oregon.
How do you say that guy's name?
JPJ or whatever the hell his name is.
There's a couple of them out there.
That's not one of them. It's all the initials, and I always want to say JPP, and I know it's not JPP. So, but again, and quite frankly, they're offensive linemen. I don't want to say I don't care what their name is. At this point, it's not like you've studied them or you were wowed by them while they were in college. There's none of that stuff. It's an unsexy yet very sexy pick, right? And that is what the Cowboys, I think, what they need. Now, if they took a wide receiver, I'm not going to be mad at it because you could certainly use that. And it's the best player available. Is it the best player available that fills a immediate need, or are you just drafting for need? And, we can all have different definitions of what that means, just like Jerry Jones has a different definition of what all in means.
Yes, he does, because we fell for it. I certainly did. When he said all in, I'm going, all right, Jerry, it's about time. Do something different. And then we find out all in doesn't mean what I thought all in meant. It meant all in with his guys, although a bunch of guys left. So I don't know what all in
but
means.
He wasn't all in on those. He was kicking them out.
He was kicking them out. He's just all in on the guys that are still on the
We're
roster.
all in with this draft.
Yeah, now they're all in with this draft. And so all in, does that mean you trade back to 30, 31, or does that mean you trade up? And then I get a real question: do you draft a quarterback? And do you,
yes.
quite frankly, I mean, you'll say yes, you're out on Dak. There's also the theory you draft a quarterback when you want one, not when you need one. The Cowboys haven't done that. They did that a couple of years ago where they wanted one, so they took a Dak Prescott in the 4th round. Mind you, the second 4th-round pick they had that year was Dak Prescott. There's a lot of teams that are drafting quarterbacks this year that need one. A lot of times those quarterbacks tend not to work out. You draft a quarterback when you want one, so you always have one. And we have talked about this quite a bit, over the last several months and even the last couple of years. They haven't drafted a potential replacement for Dak Prescott, so they're kind of stuck with the guy. They're almost at the point of, depending on how those conversations are going with Dak and his true long-term future with the organization, are they crossing over the wanting one to needing one in the NFL draft?
I think it'd be wise. I'm not saying tonight pick one, although that would be drama times 10.
Talk show host Minnick says, yes, do that.
Absolutely.
Give me chaos.
That would be fantastic. But at some point this weekend, yes, I would like to see them draft a quarterback. He may not be on the roster. He may not be the long-term, but you got to start drafting these guys. You got to check them out. Spencer Rattler, RG3, your neighbor. Where do you live? Where'd you grow up?
At Copper's Cove.
Copper's Cove.
Yes. Not current neighbor. I can't afford his neighborhood.
Exactly.
But when he was growing up.
Then you were his neighbor. But he said he thinks that Spencer Rattler would be the steal quarterback of this draft.
And you look at a guy like Spencer Rattler, and I first met Spencer Rattler when he played in the Alamo Dome in the All-American Bowl, and he was on his way to Oklahoma, and all the hype around him, future first-round guy. And Caleb Williams was at OU, and then Lincoln Riley left OU, and Spencer Rattler ended up at South Carolina. And, he's not quite as shiny as some of the other ones. He's not going to be a high first-round pick. But a couple of years ago, he was projected to be just that in a couple of years. That doesn't mean he won't be a very successful NFL quarterback, especially if he goes to a place where you have an opportunity to develop him. I look at teams like New Orleans, teams like Atlanta. If they were to take a quarterback, not necessarily in the first round, but a second, third round quarterback, where that kid is going to sit and learn for 2 years. In Atlanta, they don't need a get this year, but if they want one, because Kirk Cousins certainly isn't a long-term answer.
No.
He's a $100 million short-term answer. But the quarterback that Atlanta drafts this weekend, if they do draft a quarterback, there will be no pressure on that kid to be ready to go for 2 years. And in that time, will he be ready when Kirk Cousins moves on? Derek Carr, not a long-term answer for the Saints. He's their answer right now. But a kid that gets drafted would have a chance to sit and learn at the NFL game, and those tend to work out better faster.
Couldn't you say the same thing about the Dallas Cowboys?
And you could say that about the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason you can't say that technically, if Dak Prescott signs an extension that's 4 years, you don't want that quarterback this year, because by the time it's time for him to play, but if Dak gets an extension, we're banging the drum big time 2 years from now to draft his replacement. Get that guy. First round, second round, get that guy if he gets the extension. If he doesn't get the extension, then that's a very different scenario for the Dallas Cowboys.
By the time we get back in front of the microphone on Monday afternoon, we will have an idea of what the Cowboys' plan for Dak Prescott is, depending on what you just said. And I think you're absolutely spot on. If they do draft a quarterback, and especially if they do it early on, then we know that Dak's not in their long-term future. If they don't draft anybody quarterback-wise, then I think you have to kind of foresee ahead that Dak's going to get that contract extension.
And I would say this, too. If, say, first 5 rounds, there's no quarterback, Dak is your quarterback for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
If they take a quarterback in the 6th or 7th round, I think you could really question what they truly think of Trey Lance. Because we know Cooper Rush is a game-ready backup quarterback. Are they going to keep Cooper Rush and Trey Lance and a drafted quarterback on the practice squad? I doubt that. But with 3 quarterbacks that can be eligible on game day now, not just 2, but 3 with that new rule that got implemented last year, that is a game changer for the number of quarterbacks that get drafted late to be that 3rd quarterback. So, but the Cowboys right now have their 3 if they truly believe in those 3. So if there's a quarterback taken this weekend, then I would say that Trey Lance might be the one on the outs, because Cooper Rush, we know what he is, and he's been around a while. I don't think they want to move on from him because he's proven to be game ready. But is Trey Lance, how far along is he? If they take a quarterback late, I got to start questioning whether he is truly that guy, because Jerry's going to tell us, well, their 4th round pick, they took that quarterback. They just got him in October instead of April.
He could say that.
He would say that.
Well, yeah, and keep in mind, they still have not declined the 5th-year option. They've still got some time.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't, but I'm
they will.
surprised that they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, they will.
Why is Jerry waiting so long to do everything this year?
He's doodling.
I guess
He's got other business. He's got to get himself a running back that can also play center. Yeah. Time to feed Zeke once again. We'll talk about that coming up as we're live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Come hang out with us this afternoon. Stick around and watch the draft that starts tonight at 6 o'clock. When you need an electrician, you know Hill Electric is available to you 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. I know I've used Hill Electric for a variety of projects at my house through the years, and they do fantastic work. They added extra outlets in my garage because, the builder never puts enough in there. Put up a spotlight over one of the grills outside, dimmer lights in the living room. Whatever project you have, maybe you need some USB ports added, extra outlets in the bathroom. Hill Electric will get the job done for you. They've got the right service at the right price. And what's great is there's never a service charge and always free estimates. So it costs you absolutely nothing to figure out what it will take to get a project done. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. So call Hill Electric, 210-404-9074, 404-9074, or hill-electric.com.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select.
Tonight, Friday, and all day Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number 1? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
You don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
select.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $31.99 at O'Reilly Auto Parts. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Why'd the kid jump off the boat?
I don't know. Why?
Peer pressure.
Oh, good one, Ned.
Ned isn't funny, but Ned owns a boat, and you don't. So every time Ned tells another one of his unfunny boat puns, you're going to laugh loud and keep on laughing until you get a boat of your own.
A pier where you put a boat.
Yeah, I get it.
And when you do get a boat of your own, make sure you save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
The NFL Draft lives right here. Coverage begins tonight at 6, exclusively on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
First down and goal at the 8-yard line. Prescott will give it to Zeke. Starts up the middle, bounces left. Stiff arm, back to the touchdown, Zeke Elliott. He does a little happy dance.
And he could be doing a happy dance by getting another contract from Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, no BS. They actually have a meeting. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, live on this NFL Draft Day at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Come hang out with us this afternoon, watch a little Astros and Cubs, and then get ready for the draft, which gets officially started at 6 o'clock on the TVs. Well, draft coverage already on the TVs, on the radio for sure at 6. But not all draft talk. There is business in football. And yesterday late, there was a story that Zeke and the Cowboys have had a meeting talking about Zeke in a return to the Dallas Cowboys. First reaction is, you've got to be bleeping kidding me.
Yes.
Second reaction is, you've got to be bleeping kidding me.
Well,
third reaction is, well, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with that running back room. And I think Zeke will be fine in spot duty. And when I first heard that, Jason, I was like, no, hell no. Why? And then I realized that guy still counts against the cap.
Well, $6 million.
Right. So
might as well get something for him.
Might as well get something out of that, right? I mean, they're going to have to pay him a new contract anyway, but still. So I figured, well, it'd be okay. Short yardage only. I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do. And I hope if they do sign Zeke at some point in time today or in the near future, that doesn't preclude them from signing or drafting a running back at some point this weekend.
I'm trying to talk myself into the idea of a Zeke return, and I'm having trouble with it. But like you just said, short yardage situation, Zeke is still capable. And the Cowboys certainly missed that last year.
Oh, no doubt.
When you look at the running back room that they have right now, Zeke would come in and be the second best running back in that room behind Rico Dowdle. And if Zeke could check his ego at the door, and maybe a year in New England did that for him, because there is no way Jerry was going to pay him what he got last year in New England. And I'm glad that Jerry didn't. Now, while he was the Patriots' leading rusher, he didn't have that many more yards than you and me. But Zeke is still an incredible short yardage running back, and he's one hell of a blocker in passing situations. So if Zeke is willing to take on the role of coming off the bench guy, limited carry guy, and you're only making a couple of dollars anyway, because that wouldn't be an expensive contract, then yeah, bring him back. But I would not bring him back until Monday. Let's see what happens in the draft first, because I'm with you. I do not want them to say, okay, well, we got Zeke, so Jonathan Brooks is sitting there in the second round, but our running back room right now is crowded. No. You better draft a running back in this draft, and depending on who you pick, might determine whether or not you actually need Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, I'm just curious. I want to go back to how you started this thing. Zeke Elliott would be the second best running back in the room behind Rico Dowdle. Do you believe that?
I do.
Do you really?
Right now,
Whoa.
when you talk about being an every down back, 15, 18 carries a game type of player, I would rather have Rico Dowdle than Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, I tell you what, I hope that choice does not have to be made. I don't know. Rico Dowdle's never been given the opportunity to be that lead guy. So what can he do it? It remains to be seen, but I wouldn't have a lot of trust in rolling out Rico Dowdle in the starting lineup as your starting running back.
What's the difference between saying, all right, well, 2 years ago, when I would say something similar about Tony Pollard, your answer was, well, we don't know because he's never been given the opportunity.
Well, we don't know because the argument was, if you'll recall, well, he's never been that, and everybody says he can't be that. And so there's a difference. I'm saying, looking at Rico Dowdle being with the Cowboys as he has, would you feel good if Jerry and Mike McCarthy stood up today and said, Rico Dowdle's our guy, he's the number one back, we're rolling with him?
When I look at what's in the room right now, I mean, look, that's the best option right now. If they draft Jonathan Brooks and he's
Trey
ready
Benson,
to go,
man. Trey Benson.
He's ready to go. Well, name him. I mean, whatever the rookie is. But Rico Dowdle has played extremely well when he's been given the opportunity. And last year he was the number 2 behind Tony Pollard, but when he came in, he did good things. Is he ready? Has he earned his opportunity to get that? They have done this offseason. The Cowboys have told us that Rico Dowdle is your starting running back. And right now, based on what we saw last year in New England from Zeke, I would, and Zeke comes back, he is still a backup to Rico Dowdle. He is a backup.
It'll be interesting to see, because that battle will be won in training camp. And if Rico Dowdle is what you think he is, then he will win that job.
No, and you know this. I've been I don't want to say a fan of Rico Dowdle for a while, but remember last year about this time, everybody was talking about Malik Davis except for me, saying no, it's Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
I mean, and Malik Davis, I think, is still on the planet, isn't he? I don't know where he is, but I mean, but everybody that was all high on Malik Davis, right? They didn't trust Malik Davis when Tony Pollard broke his leg in San Francisco to give him the ball. So they told us what they thought of Malik Davis, but they have kept Rico Dowdle through injury. And last year, when he played extremely well. So is it his time? Has he earned that spot? And it's not like the Cowboys went out during free agency and even got a cheap running back. It's one thing to not want to pay Derrick Henry, but it's another for some of the other guys that we thought could be on their way. So, and Zeke, there's not a lot left in that gas tank. If he's my short yardage guy, because I know if I need a yard, Zeke can go get me a yard. And, crucial passing situation, maybe he's in there to pick up a good block because he can do that. What he can't do is snap the ball. As long as they don't ever try him at center again, I'm in pretty good shape.
He can snap the ball. He's just not a very good blocker after he does. That was the problem. He kind of got rolled over on his butt.
Not kind of.
Well, yeah, kind of. That remains to be seen. Look, if Rico Dowdle earns the job, okay. I just would like to see them draft. If it's a guy from Texas, a guy from Florida State, have that guy out there and let them compete for that job.
That I'm fine with. And like I said, don't sign Zeke until Monday because I want them to draft a running back. And if they draft a running back and decide they don't need Zeke, I'm good with that.
I think
have
they
the
do
meeting,
it either way.
Have the meeting now and you're good. But, and again, Zeke coming back, a little reunion, as long as you realize it's not the same Zeke from years ago. And, as you look around and you think about some of the NBA superstars that are willing to accept a coming off the bench role, like a Chris Paul at Golden State. If Zeke is willing to accept a role like that on a reduced salary like that, I'm all for it. But if Zeke is coming in to compete to be the starter and be the guy again, man, we can't get 2018 Zeke back. That ship has sailed.
What? Wouldn't you want him to come in here thinking he can compete for that starting job and be the starter? I don't want him coming in here saying, yeah, I'll go to the bench. I'll be a short. No, if they're going to sign the guy, I want him to come in here and say, yeah, that's my job. I left it here. It's still there. It's mine to win. I mean, that's the kind of attitude I would want to have.
Well, don't get me wrong. Knowing your role and accepting it is one thing, but thinking you should be the guy and come and compete, I want the competitiveness that comes with that. But with the reality and the realistic expectation, this is your role on this football team going into the 2024 football season. And if we need you, you're going to have to be ready to go. But I don't want a disgruntled guy thinking that he should be the guy when he's not the guy anymore. Because the guy that used to jump into the Salvation Army Red Kettles, I don't know if he can get there this time without a step ladder.
What did he have? Like 700 and some odd yards for the Patriots, and they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. I don't know.
He didn't make them better.
I don't know if I think Zeke is depleted as you think he is. I'm not necessarily a fan of them signing the guy. If they do, they do. But if they do, I hope they give him every opportunity to come in here and battle for that starting job. And if you're Zeke Elliott, you got to be looking at that running back room like the rest of us saying,
I'm better than those guys.
I'm better than those guys.
And I'm fine
Absolutely.
with them thinking that. But also, if Zeke were to win that job, how bad are the evaluators to say that they thought Rico and Vaughn and Royce Freeman, if they don't draft a guy, if Zeke were to win that job, I think that's an indictment on the scouting and coaching departments.
Well, I think the Deuce Vaughn thing already is. All right, let's hope
a good feel-good story.
Yeah, let's hope that there's no more feel-good stories in tonight's draft.
Anybody on staff have a draftable kid?
Yeah. Whose father is next? Has somebody got a kid that needs to be drafted so we can make him cry and he can call and all of that stuff? Because look, Deuce Vaughn
should be more sensitive.
Stop it! Stop! It's a great story. I shed a tear, but then it was like, what the hell are they thinking? Deuce Vaughn, for goodness sake, they got to draft the running back regardless. Whether they announce a Zeke Elliott signing today or not, you have got to draft a running back, and they've got to know that.
I hope they don't draft a running back until Monday. Or not draft, sign a Zeke until Monday.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know something I don't?
Well, they could draft somebody on Monday. They'd be the undrafted guys that they could sign, which is apparently what the Cowboys' big plan is.
Apparently.
For this offseason. We're going to fill in the roster with those undrafted guys. Good Lord. Let's talk more about what the Cowboys might do tonight. And a little reaction from the press conference the other day with the great Clarence Hill Jr. from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. He joins us next here on the Blitz, live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Fiesta Friday on the Morning Huddle, post-draft day one. Did the Cowboys get what you were after, or did they get what Jerry was after?
Plus, who across the NFL did the best and who did the worst? We have all of the answers, all of the takes, and all of the grades. The Morning Huddle starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Pork rinds pack a protein punch and are the boldest low-carb snacks out there. Skip the chip and try Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds for that ultimate crunch. And with flavors that will have you craving for more, the time to stock up on Southern Recipe at H-E-B is now. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. Be big, be bold, be adventurous.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
As a roofer, spring means the start of my busy season, which means I've got to get organized. With help from Beacon, I can save time with Beacon Pro Plus and 24/7 access to live pricing, delivery tracking, order history, and more. Plus, this spring, I can earn $1,000 and the chance to win a $25,000 backyard renovation just by buying my Certainty shingles online with Beacon. No purchase necessary. Now that's what I call a spring cleanup. Visit BECN.com for official rules and to start earning entries.
Hey, this is Rob Thompson for Tri-County Meat Market, your locally owned full-service meat market. Tri-County has two great locations, Keebner Road and Ralph Fair, stocked full of everything you need to up your grilling game. You're looking for the perfect cut of beef, they've got it, and if they don't have it, they'll cut it for you. Roast chicken, prepare foods, they've got it. The 5 for $25 is always in play. If you're a first responder, 10% off the best meat you're going to find. Tri-County Meat Market. Head over to either location, put some good meat on the grill, and thank me later.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 210-615-7777 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Buyers Barricades is control rental and sales for work zones and events in the San Antonio area and beyond. Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. Learn more online at buyersbarricades.com. That's buyersbarricades.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road as we get set for the NFL draft tonight. You know there's no better place to come hang out and watch the game and watch the draft tonight than here at the Roo Pub. And I think a lot of us are rooting for chaos. Will Jerry do the smart thing or go with the shiny object? Let's talk about it. Clarence Hill Jr. from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Clarence, as you prepare for the draft tonight, are you thinking that the Cowboys will do what many think they should do and go offensive lineman, or if there's a skill position player there, does Jerry go that route?
No, I think that theoretically they want to go offensive line. They have to fix that line, and all that. It just, of course, the Cowboys are at liberty of what happened before them. It's going to be run on quarterbacks. The word now is going to be run on tackles. The center may be gone. And then it's either do you stand pat and pick the best available guy there, which could be a skill guy, or do you trade back? So everything's on the table. But they're at their druthers. They need to get a tackle. They want to get a tackle.
Clarence, when you look at tonight, though, and I'm thinking, the more I think about it, obviously, I think you're right, and I think that that's what they'll do. But the possibility of the Cowboys moving back, don't you think that would be the best thing to do and maybe pick up another pick or two along the way?
Well, again, as Jerry said, it depends on who's available. If CeeDee Lamb falls or whatever else, or Michael's there, or really the guy that they can plug in at tackle and leave Tyler Smith at guard, is there. You want to take the pick. But, obviously if those scenarios are gone, you like to move back and pick up more picks. They don't have a lot of picks in this draft. And they have a lot of needs. They didn't fill a lot of needs in free agency. They didn't fill a lot of holes in free agency. And they don't have a lot of draft selection to really fill in what they missed out on free agency. So, they would theoretically, you would love to add picks and get more players. And the good news is the Cowboys do have, because of the losses, they will have a boatload of compensatory picks next year that they also can trade to add to this all this year.
It's going to be interesting for sure, as it always is, as Clarence Hill Jr. from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joins us here on the Blitz. Now, Clarence, this offseason has been an offseason of inactivity for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's frustrated all the fans. And I think for the first time in a long time, I don't think that we have a good gauge on what the Cowboys' plan really is. When you look at, signing Dak and CD and Micah to extensions, what are they going to do at running back? And we know that there are some conversations apparently happening with Zeke. Tonight, we get a pretty good idea of what they are going to do this offseason with what they do in the first round, and then this weekend with the rest of the draft. The conversation, and you were trying to get it out of Dak the other night at that charity event. Think about the press conference on Tuesday that the Cowboys have. What
Right.
is your sense of what the Cowboys' true direction is for the 2024 season?
Not spend money. How about that?
Well, they're doing a good job of that.
Keep all the money in Jerry's pocket, and that appears to be the case. That's a loaded question, because they say, Stephen Jones has said we're holding the money back. We just spend it for it because we're saving it for Dak and CD and Micah. Well, sign them. Sign them. Why can't you sign them then if you're holding this money back? And, Jerry was just, was hilarity the other day. We're talking about being an option quarterback and waiting for leaves to fall and all this other stuff. And, it's I don't know. They were. I know that press conference, the pre-draft press conference, they were as defensive as ever. I think they're very defensive on what they haven't done and how they go about the business. It was funny to me that Steve would act like they got an A in free agency last year. We got an A in the offseason because of Cooks and those guys. And, you were applauded because you did something. You weren't applauded because you went all in. You didn't push all chips in the middle last offseason just because you traded for a couple of veterans, and this year you're doing nothing. At the end of the day, as he said, we didn't win in the playoffs. They haven't won in the playoffs. That's how that will be ultimately decided. But I do think the Cowboys want to sign Dak. I do think that they will get something done with CD first, or at some point, and they'll get Micah done before 2025, but it has a Cowboy fan base as disillusioned as ever. I mean, I've never seen people as disillusioned about the season. Let's be honest, the Cowboys are going to be good next year. Okay, they do have the best quarterback in the division. They do have the best pass rush in the division. They do have the two best guards in the division. When you look at Zach and Tyler, they do have the best receiver in the division. Possibly the best cornerback duo in the division. They're going to be competitive. They possibly be a playoff team, but that was never a goal. You didn't bring, Mike McCarthy going to last year's deal, not just Fred Water be as good as you were last year to make the playoffs. The goal is supposed to be to get to the next level, to get to the NFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl. They don't have the players to do that.
Clarence, that's interesting. You've been covering the Cowboys for a long time. Have you ever seen an offseason that mirrors this one? I mean, I can't recall one that is anything like this. And some have suggested maybe Jerry was just pissed off because of that Green Bay loss and said the hell with it. I don't know, but I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I don't think Jerry's trying to, is doing anything out of spite. I mean, I know people were coming about, and I think the problem is no one knows what happened in Green Bay. They still can't figure out why they played so badly. And it's kind of going into the offseason that there's just such, no one knows what's going on. But an offseason after a winning season, offseason after you go 12-5, I've never seen anything like this. The Cowboys historically, they haven't done much in the past. They just have. Most of the time, they've shopped at the bargain and added guys just so they could be true to the draft and not have to force needs. And they kind of filled needs in free agency. They don't have not really signed a lot of guys in free agency, but this year they've done really nothing. So it's a head scratcher. It's a head scratcher all around, and it's a head scratcher even more when you consider what's at stake for Mike McCarthy.
Well, and Mike McCarthy knows what's at stake, and he went and hired a new agent in Don Yee. How was that received there at the Star amongst the brass that Mike McCarthy changed agents and went and got a guy like Don Yee?
Listen, Mike McCarthy, it was funny. People said that, he ran out of that press conference and went and got a new agent.
It felt that way.
Yeah, it did feel that way. And I know, just talking to Mike McCarthy, he's going to say the right thing. But, when we talked to him back in February, he really thought that they were going to get something done with Dak. They could actually got to raise it. He really wanted them to bring back Tony Pollard. So this is, obviously he's had to shift his mindset into working with what they have. But that was not his mindset when we talked to him in February, that he thought that they would be more active and do some more things to improve this team. And just on paper, the Cowboys are not better than they were at the end of the season. They're worse than they were, on paper from that loss to Green Bay. And that's what's disheartening.
It is disheartening. It really is. And, running back tonight or this weekend at some point, Clarence, I think is important. And I really hope the Cowboys do pull the trigger on a running back. But the Zeke Elliott rumor, obviously, or not rumor, they talked, right? I guess earlier this week. How serious do you think the Cowboys are about bringing him back?
Well, I think it's something that's on the table. They've talked a couple of times, and just talking to both sides. The meeting on Wednesday was just kind of a talks. Obviously they'll check back in after the draft, depending on what they get. They signed Royce Freeman, a veteran who played with the Rams last year and also played with the Texans and Broncos earlier, to give them, I guess, a veteran option to go with what they have in the backfield, in the locker room right now with Rico Dowdell and Deuce. Some of those guys, they have to, add to this running back room, and they would love to do it in the draft. If they don't do it in the draft, I guess then Zeke is back on the table. We'll get more clarity about where they are with Zeke, depending on what they do in the draft. But I certainly think if they draft a running back in the second round, they're not coming back to Zeke. Maybe depends on what they see with Royce, and we'll see what happens in July. But if they do draft a running back, they're not coming back to Zeke.
I would think so. But Clarence, as you think about, Zeke in a short yardage situation, I would be in favor of that. But Zeke couldn't come back as a starter. The question I have is Rico Dowdell ready to be the number one running back?
Yeah, I don't think that's what they want. I think, they want to draft a running back to be the starter. I think Rico Dowdell is part of the package. He showed a lot last year, but I don't know if they're ready to make him the starter. I think that whatever they do in the draft will determine who's going to be the starter going in. And obviously just the the thing that everybody's talking about is our guy from Texas, Jonathan Brooks, and
Yes,
I
sir.
would love to him to draft Jonathan Brooks. I think a healthy Jonathan Brooks will be the number one, would be the first running back taken, and I think it'd be a great move for them. The question is, can the Cowboys risk taking a running back coming off of ACL injury? Now, Jonathan Brooks will be better in 2025 than in 2024, but they need a guy that can come and hit the ground running now. And I know he's going to be healthy. According to the doctors, according to him, we're ready to go for training camp. We all know you're better your second year after ACL surgery than your first year. He'll be ready to go, but will he be at his best?
Well, that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, Trey Benson's another name that's been mentioned, the kid out of Florida State. So, it's going to be interesting. And speaking of health, Clarence, what are you hearing about Trayvon Diggs? Is everything progressing the way he hopes and the Cowboys hope?
Yeah, the good news with Diggs, if there's some good news, unlike, a Brooks who got hurt in November, and you go back to last year, 2 years ago when Michael Gallup got hurt in January, Diggs got hurt in September, October. He's had, he's going to have a full year. I mean, he should be good and ready to go by the time training camp starts and ready to roll. He should have no limitations. So, but so far so good. Yeah, he's fine. He looks fine. He's working out. There's no setbacks in there. So he should be. He's getting hurt. The good news is he got hurt in October. Early or late September, early October, and so he should be ready to go for sure.
Well, and same with like Overshawn, some of the injuries, and that's one thing. Do we give the Cowboys front office the benefit of the doubt? Now, I know last year's draft right now does not look good because you didn't get the immediate impact from Amazi Smith and from Schoonmaker, and Overshawn got hurt, and so you didn't feel the immediate impact. But when you look at the moves that they did not make this year, and if you take Steven at his word, some of those young players are ready to step up and be the guy. And most fans aren't buying that. Should we give that front office the benefit of the doubt that, say, a Brock Hoffman could step in and be a starter, the Richards kid could step in and be a starter if called upon, a Matt Walesko? Should we be giving this front office more credit than most fans are?
No, because last year's draft was bad. I'm sorry. I mean, they historically have had good drafts, and we named that. But the idea that Miles was going to come in and be great in year two after being a bust in year one, I just don't buy that. I've looked at it. You showed me a first-round pick from the Cowboys who did not play a lot as a rookie, a first-round pick who came in and became a player. There are none. You go back to Bobby Carpenter, go back to Philly Jones, go back to Taco Charlton. None of those first-round picks who
Clarence?
Started as rookies, they did not do anything. They did not. The second-year jump didn't mean anything for them.
Well,
so
it's going to be interesting.
Now all of a sudden, Miles is going to bust the trend, and now all of a sudden he's going to be a great player. I mean, because they just don't need a guy. They drafted Miles because he's supposed to be a difference maker. He's going to be a big plugger, gets to run, and the notion that the great Jonathan Hankins kept him off the field. And Jonathan Hankins was good. He was solid, and he was valuable because they had no one else. But let's not act like Jonathan Hankins was a Domicon Zoo in there.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, he's going to be a guy to watch in camp and first part of the season, no question about it. At linebacker is Cowboys are dealing. Overshawn coming back. We really don't know what he can do yet because of his injury. Is that something the Cowboys might look at this weekend?
Yeah, they'll look at it. Depends on where they can look at it because, there are a couple of linebackers. The A&M linebackers pretty good. The Penn State, there's the North Carolina State linebackers are pretty good. But this draft is not deep at that position. You talk to everybody that's not, a really deep position where there are a lot of linebackers. There are one or two out there that come in immediately help, but it's not deep at that position. The presence of Overshawn, I think that we saw enough from him, unlike Mozzie and unlike Schoonmaker. We saw enough from him in training camp that this guy was showing something. He can be a player. And so there's legitimate reason to be excited about him this year. So those are two different conversations. And signing Edric Kendricks is good, but yeah, it's something they would like to add to the position. Just depend on when and if that's the best player available at that time to pick.
Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joining us here on the Blitz 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Want to kind of circle back to those contracts, Dak and CD, before we let you go, Clarence. And yesterday we had Wade Phillips on the show, and we talked to him a little bit about why teams wait. If you know you want to sign Dak and you know you want to sign, say, CD, why wait? And Wade said that you want to keep that money in your account as opposed to theirs. Wait till the last possible minute to pay them, which is kind of interesting when you're talking about billionaires, but I guess, that's a philosophy. But last Friday when Dak was at that charity event in Dallas, and you especially kept trying to get some answers out of him about the conversations that he has had with Jerry. For the first time that I can recall, Dak hinted at, whether it's here or somewhere else, do you get the idea that Dak is comfortable looking at what it would be like life with another franchise, maybe with a fan base that would appreciate him a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't. Let's just put it out there like this. And the same thing with the Cowboys. Dak wants to be with the Cowboys. Okay, Dak wants to finish with the Cowboys. Grew up a Cowboys fan. This is where he wants to be. And theoretically, the Cowboys want Dak to be their quarterback. The reality is, if they can't get something done, then what do you do? And so Dak he certainly faced the reality of he doesn't fear going anywhere else if they can't get something done. I think that's really what it is. I don't fear having to play for another team, but he wants to be here. That's his preference. That's what he wants to do. His brother's more upset about the fan base and him and all the other stuff that he gets. But Dak is okay with that. He would rather finish his career here, but he doesn't fear going somewhere else if that's what it comes to.
So did the Cowboys draft a quarterback this weekend?
They're not drafting a quarterback. I mean, I think Jerry tried to answer that. Their quarterback is Trey Lance. They used a 4th-round pick on Trey Lance. They're not taking a quarterback. Now, of course, they're going to make me a liar and pick one in the 1st round, right? Michael Penix dropped to 24. But no, they're not taking a quarterback. That's not on the table, and they would like to get a deal done with Dak. My thing is that what does that look like? What the Cowboys are so caught up into, we need to get they don't want Dak to break the bank. They need to get a deal that helps them get other people around them. Because as much as Jerry said that we like this roster, he admits that we're going to have lesser talent around Dak, a lesser supporting cast. So you like a roster that's lesser? That doesn't make any sense either. But what does that look like? Obviously people talk about $60 million or $55 million. What's palatable? Is it 52? What number is palatable that makes, okay, we'll sign that? What number is palatable to a fan base? It's okay if Dak gets 52, but not 55. It's okay if he gets 55, but not 60. Does that make him Tom Brady? What does that number look like?
Yeah, I mean, would you even notice when you're talking about that kind of numbers and you look at your bank account, 55 million versus 52?
No kidding.
Hell, I'd just like the difference to drop into my bank account because that'd make a big difference for me, but I don't know if it does for those two guys.
Right, exactly. So I don't know what's amenable to everybody. They'll make it okay. We were talking in the media room the other day, and if Dak took 52, then the fans won't be so mad. And really? If he took 52 instead of 55 or 60, and they don't win, they're going to say, he's making $52 million. They can't, it just doesn't matter.
It's $9.99 is a whole lot different than saying 1,000. I mean, that TV is $9.99. Man, I'm getting it, but 1,000's too much.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to.
Exactly. I mean, what does that look like? So it's crazy. And I guess they'll figure it out. Dak told us last week he didn't necessarily need to be the highest paid player, and so he's not going to be the highest paid player. What number works for the Cowboys and allows them to get these guys in the contract? But because again, it's not going to be 40, it's not going to be 45, it's going to be 50 or more. Let's be honest about that. No matter where he goes, that's what the numbers are. So and the same thing with CeeDee Lamb. You just saw with Amon St. Brown just got. I mean, Jerry's talking about, I need to see more leaves falling. Well, leaves fell. I think a big log fell the other day.
Yeah, and I think that that St. Brown contract now is the floor for the negotiations, not the ceiling. Where the other day that might have been the ceiling. That's how it works out. Clarence, it's always a lot of fun catching up, and obviously the drama continues around the Dallas Cowboys and will, especially with what they do at pick number 24 tonight. Appreciate you taking some time on what I know is going to be a busy day and long night for you.
All right, thank you guys.
Appreciate it. The great Clarence Hill Jr. from the Fort Worth Star-Telegram on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. Come hang out with us at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, as we get ready for tonight's NFL draft and the Astros-Cubs game going on right now. Astros hanging on to a 1-0 lead in the top of the 6th inning. And as we get ready for draft day, you learn way too much about some of these players. Some of the things they do with stake can really change your opinion of them. Why I Hate Drake May, coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Don't be like that, Minix. Don't be like that. Hey, when you come out here to the Roo Pub, you want to walk down to the left. And to the left is the Big Blind. That's right. Right here in the same shopping center. You want to check that place out. It is the premier poker house in San Antonio. And I've been to just about all of them. And this one is head and shoulders above everybody else, catering to players from all abilities. You don't have to be a pro poker player to go into the Big Blind. In fact, on Saturday, April 27th, there is a great deal. If you're just starting out, if you're a pro, whatever you are, this is a perfect opportunity to get into the Big Blind. It's called Jeff's Friendly Texas Hold'em Game. $25 buy-in. It's going to start at 12:30 Saturday afternoon, and they're going to have blackjack events. That's right. The Big Blind has blackjack. Blackjack events from 2, 4, and 6 o'clock. Again, it's this Saturday, April 27th at the Big Blind, $25 buy-in. Make plans to check them out. They got TVs all over the place, just like the Roo Pub, so you're not going to miss a moment of any action that you want to see when you go in there. They've got food. They'll serve drinks directly to your table, a full bar, and it is just a fantastic place. As close to Vegas as you can get without going to Vegas. The Big Blind, it is the best in the business. Come see them, enjoy some poker, have a great time. You know where it is. It's right down from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant here at 281 and Redland Road.
Riding 1604 with the Blitz.
On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again.
Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422. 800-714-8422.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hi, I'm attorney Steve Benke. If you've made the decision to divorce, you need an experienced attorney who can help. I've helped many people get through support and alimony problems. Call me. I'm attorney Steve Benke.
210-DIVORCE or go to BenkeLaw.com.
Areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
a new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Nigel, what's up with your hair?
Joel, prices are insane these days. I'm cutting my own hair.
Folks, nobody likes paying high prices. Good news, for a limited time, all Quarter Moon 14-SEER AC systems up to 3 tons are installed in your house for only $69.99. Now is the ideal time to take care of your home at the lowest price of the year.
Joel, I like saving money. I'm an influencer. Everywhere I go, people hand me change and say, bless your heart.
Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat, and AC. 210-651-5899. License number N16004.
Calling all children ages 8 to 16. HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing a youth football clinic to you on May 4th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at East Central High School in San Antonio. You can do skills and drills just like the pros. Register for your chance to participate at dallascowboys.com/HEB. Camp is limited to 150 athletes per session, so sign up today. Purchase not required to register. Parents must be 18 years of age or older and a Texas resident. The promotion ends April 25th. For official rules and important details, visit dallascowboys.com/HEB.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Let's get you caught up on some Major League Baseball action. The Houston Astros out in Chicago taking on the Cubs, top half of the 6th inning. Astros threatening, but right now they lead by a score of 1-0. The Texas Rangers at home this afternoon taking on the Seattle Mariners, top half of the 6th in that ball game. It is Seattle with a 4-2 lead at this point in time. And, of course, NBA playoffs tonight. Cavs, Magic, Philly, and the Knicks, and and all of that.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, live at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road on this NFL Draft Day.
It is NFL Draft Day. Can I finish the NBA matchups?
Yeah, you want to finish Sports Center?
I kind of do, if you don't mind. The Cavs taking on the Magic. You got the Knicks. They're in Philly tonight, and the Nuggets taking on the Lakers.
Yeah, and it's the
Blitz
NFL
is
Draft.
next.
Nobody cares.
Exactly.
I mean, Pledge even kind of paused, waited for you to finish, yet you didn't, and then a fumble, and, you know, all of that good stuff.
All in. He paused waiting for me to finish?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I'm used to that.
All in.
Yeah, I'm used to that.
Are you?
Yeah, sure. Not from Pledge necessarily, but
I mean, it's 38 seconds was just a little too short for you today.
It is.
Yeah.
Man, I had some staying power today.
I know. Could have got a whole 49 seconds.
Very nice.
Yes.
Well, that would have been a nice surprise.
I know.
Yeah.
Cigarette break, and then you finish the NBA update.
Yes. So I feel good now.
Radio quality.
Now it's time for a cigarette.
Yeah, another one, huh?
Sure.
Yes. Give you an hour, you'll try again.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah, let's do the headline blitz.
Is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
With the NFL draft tonight, especially the high first-round quarterbacks, we learn a lot about them. Last year, it was Will Levis and mayonnaise in his coffee.
Which is horrible, by the way.
It sounds horrible.
It sounds terrible. Mayonnaise on anything is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's not true.
Well, for the most part.
There are certain things that I know you're anti-mayonnaise to begin with, but there are certain things that it's mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But I'm not a coffee drinker, but if I was, it certainly wouldn't be mayonnaise in anything drinkable just sounds awful.
Well, wouldn't it just be kind of like adding cream?
I don't know.
I mean,
no.
After it melts, maybe it's just like a nice creamer.
It would still be a little too slimy, and just the taste of mayonnaise mixed with coffee just sounds awful all the way.
Well, it does. I'm just saying. I'm trying to look on the bright side.
Then again, he was from Kentucky and now lives in Tennessee, so who the hell knows, right?
Exactly.
But
he married to his cousin?
But no, don't go that far. I didn't say Mississippi.
Oh.
But when you look at Drake May, Drake May apparently is trying to model too many things after Patrick Mahomes. Now, there are certain things like you're a quarterback coming up, you see what Patrick does, and you say, all right, well, if it works for him, it's good. I'll try it.
Yes.
Steak on ketchup.
Well, Mahomes does the same thing.
Yeah.
Even people give me a hard time about the chicken fried steak, which isn't actually a steak. It's a freaking hamburger with some crust on it. So, ketchup's okay with that.
It's not okay with that.
What's a cutlet or whatever?
Well, ketchup if you didn't have gravy. The fact that you mix the ketchup and the gravy together, which dilutes and ruins the gravy.
It's fantastic, by the way.
It's really not. I've tried it.
But ketchup on a steak, dude, that I have a hard time with. That doesn't go together. And so Drake May, when he's in New England next year and puts ketchup on his steak, what kind of reaction do you think he gets?
Now, I'm going to guess when he gets drafted by the Patriots, he's going to learn what a good steak is, because Robert Kraft owns a steak chain called Davia's Northern Italian Steakhouse.
Really?
Which are phenomenal.
All right.
I've been to the one in Philly and I've been to the one in Atlanta. And I was kind of hoping when we were in Boston this year we'd go to that one, but we didn't.
Ritzy places?
It's on the line of Ruth's Chris, Morton, somewhere in there.
All right.
They've got an appetizer called a Philly cheesesteak roll that's incredible. But I digress. Their steaks are wonderful. And I would imagine that if you ordered ketchup with a steak at Davia's, you would get kicked out.
Probably.
I mean, even the kids' plate doesn't get ketchup on that cut of steak. I'm offended at steak sauces. Like if you're somewhere and you need a steak sauce for your steak, you're not having a good enough steak. That kind of stuff it hides the flavor of whatever it is you're eating,
or it enhances the flavor.
But a good steak does not need to be enhanced.
I agree with that. But there are some places that I would go that I would not be opposed to a little A1 sauce.
What are you talking about? Like the Golden Corral, the Sizzler?
Sure.
I mean, at that point, is it really steak?
Well, I don't know if it's really steak.
I mean, at that point, just get a hamburger if you want ketchup.
I feel free enough to do that at a place like, I don't know, Saltgrass or...
You would get...
Yeah, sometimes, depending on what kind of mood I'm in. Yeah.
Well, how bad is your steak where you're like, I need some steak sauce?
It's not that bad.
It's awful.
It's not that bad.
Look, I'm very biased on this, and you can't change my mind or convince me.
Don't want to.
It's like the guy that orders a steak well done. If you want shoe leather, we can get it to you, but you're not going to ruin a great steak by doing that or adding A1 or whatever other kind of steak sauce there is.
Heinz 57, maybe.
Again, a good steak does not need that.
Well, I agree. Now, I would never do that at a Ruth's Chris or J Prime or a fancy schwanky place like that, because you're right, you don't. Not necessarily do I need it at a Saltgrass either.
Yeah, because that's
sometimes,
fancy and schwanky.
But I don't feel bad about saying, hey, you got any A1 sauce? I don't feel bad about it. I mean, if it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in.
Well, you're in a mood, you're two bites in saying this steak sucks, it needs something.
No, I get it before the bite anyway.
Really?
Oh, sure. But typically,
it's because you're anticipating a substandard steak.
Well, if I go there, I get like some mushrooms, and then you dump that on the steak, and you got butter sauce, and you usually don't need it. But sometimes I'm in the mood for a little A1. It's not bad. Dude, they make that for a reason. You look at me like I'm the only one. They make millions and millions of bottles of A1 sauce.
They do.
Every day.
They do.
And people buy them.
And when they bring it to you at the steak place, because I don't do this, so I don't really know, but I would assume that it's kind of hard to get the top off because it hasn't been used in a couple of weeks.
Now, you'd be surprised.
Well,
I'm not the only one.
People just ruining good steaks. Again, your steak should not need that help, and it should never be ketchup. Drake May, strike one.
Dude, it's not about whether I need it or not. It's about whether you want that flavor at that particular time.
If you're getting a good steak, you should not want that flavor.
Well, it's a good steak, but yeah, it just pops it.
It pops
pop.
it.
Yeah.
You need that pop.
Little pop.
Mm-hmm.
Kids these days.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's what it boils down to. The NFL is going to open up a training academy in Australia.
This is a crazy story, right? And it just tells you the NFL is taking over the world. They really are. Well, they've got now the Aussies wanting to play football over there.
Well, I mean, they play rugby already. We've got a number of kickers and punters from down under. Growth football is there. And so, yeah, having a training academy down there, I'm thinking, what the hell is taking so long? I would have thought we would have seen that 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's a great idea. So it's kind of like a summer camp, I guess, right? Down there.
Yeah. You know,
for those guys.
The other day, we heard LeBron James crying about the replay center.
Yes.
Different sport, same issue. Yesterday, the Angels got screwed by the replay center.
If this call goes the way we think it should. Crowd is chanting safe.
After review, call on the field stance. The runner is out.
That is absurd. That is absurd. That's unbelievable. That's a joke. That's a joke. Absolutely ridiculous. It is clear on the replay that Adele was safe, and it is a ridiculous way to end this game. That's garbage. The Baltimore Orioles end up with a 6-5 win. Could not have been any clearer on the replay that Adele hit the bag before the tag from Henderson. We'll show it again.
His foot is on the base. Foot is on the base, and then the tag.
I mean, I don't know what else you need to see there. Hits the bag, the tag not there yet.
It's just unbelievable. Joe Adele obviously upset too because he felt he got his foot in there. This game is completely different here. He had a chance.
Heartbreaking way for this one to end. The Angels had a roaring comeback attempt, down 6-0. They lose it 6-5.
Now, that's the Angels broadcast crew talking about that. When you see the replay center clearly got it wrong. But there was something in that video that is on Twitter. And obviously, if you're listening on radio, you can't see the video. But if you go look at it, I want you to notice something. You know, they show video from the replay center. And the guy in the replay center checks his watch and then says, yeah, no, the play stands. That ended the game. Did that guy have dinner reservations? Did he have a plane to catch? What was the reason he clearly missed that call? But when he checked his watch, my thought was, well, he had somewhere to go. Because if that call stands, that game continues because now it's tied. He wanted to get the hell out of there.
Well, he needs to be fired. That's exactly what it needs to be. That was, I mean, when you've got a replay and the replay is so clear, crystal clear, that the guy was safe. I mean, it wasn't even close. And it
was close, but it was clear.
It wasn't. It was clear. It wasn't even that close. I mean, it's a call that any umpire should have made. Obviously, the umpire didn't make it. So they challenge it. But that's the idea of a replay.
But the guy at the replay center looking at his watch cracks me up.
Guy needs to be fired.
Yeah.
He honestly needs to be fired. You talk about, the integrity of the game now. And all the things that we do with sports gambling, and then you see something like that, and you're going, what the hell? What if you had the Angels? I mean, if I had a bet on the Angels that day and I lose because of that, I'm pissed.
Well, and when they put up the last 2-minute report or whatever and apologize, that should make you feel better, right?
Yeah, of course. I don't know.
No, but it's the same idea. It is ridiculous when you have the replay and you still get it wrong when you blatantly miss the call. But I have a bigger problem when they show me what is going on in the replay center and the dude is checking his watch and says, nah, call on the field stands. What? Yeah. It should have been easily overturned, and that ended the game. So I get the feeling as a fan, that guy had something else that he wanted to go do and wanted to get the hell out of there.
Well, yeah, and what do you think? You think the guy should be fired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
He shouldn't be making that call because I mean, you have the video replay for that reason. It's and I don't know, do they now have to get two people in there to agree and not just leave it up to one guy as the video judge? I don't know.
Well, I have to believe for the Angels, they're seeing the same thing we're seeing. That video is going to the league office right away.
It is. And, the other thing you see at baseball games, people that take their gloves.
Yeah.
There's an LSU baseball fan.
Well, there you go, LSU.
And he's a rather large man sitting in the outfield with the glove, and a ball was screaming to him, a home run ball. He puts his glove up, he completely misses, and the ball bounces off his head. And, of course, they went and interviewed him immediately after.
I mean, it was on a rope, and, I've been carrying this glove with me for years, and I was like, okay, now's my time. I got one coming, and hole in the glove, man. What can I say? Beamed off my dome, and here we are. I've got a nice little goose egg.
Can we see it?
Oh, well, I mean, if you want to.
Does it hurt?
It don't feel good. It felt like every bit of a 109-mile-an-hour fastball, home run ball, yes.
Did we get the ball afterwards? Or?
No, it skipped over the fence, but Josh Pearson, man, he's such a great guy. He came to toss me their toss ball that they do in between innings, so he tossed it to me. I guess probably Friday I'll go get Tommy White to sign it for me and maybe kiss my Bobo.
Oh, no. Don't make him kiss your boo-boo.
Maybe kiss my Bobo.
Nasty looking. Big red strawberry right on his top of his dome.
Kiss my Bobo.
Wow.
That's awful.
That's
maybe
terrible.
kiss my
Cubs
Bobo.
now lead the Astros 3-1. That's awful.
Boy, the Astros off to a rough start.
Dude,
man.
Verlander was pitching well. Bullpen comes in and promptly makes that 1-0 lead go away. Let's talk about the NFL draft as we continue here at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, just down from the Big Blind.
Yeah, and first, I want to tell you, have you seen the forecast this weekend? Thunderstorms are forecast. And we've had several this spring already, and they're coming. It happens every year here in San Antonio and South Texas. That's why you need to remember Stevens Roofing, because you know what happens. As soon as we have one of these thunderstorms with hail, you get a knock on your door or a phone call saying, hey, we're X roofing company, and we want to come check your roof out. They do that, and they swindle you, and then they leave town. Stevens Roofing won't do that. They've been in business in San Antonio and South Texas for many, many years, and they're not going anywhere. They stand behind their work. If you think you have a problem with your roof, or if you just want it checked out, go to Stevens Roofing. Let me give you that phone number. It's 210-785-0994. You can also get them online at stevensroofing.net. Don't wait. Why don't you give them a call today? Have them come out before those storms roll in. The phone number again, 210-785-0994.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
For the 24th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select.
Tonight, Friday, and all day Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
Don't sweat a swing and miss thanks to insurance tokens from BetMGM. Add an MLB wager to your bet slip and activate your bet insurance token. If your bet with the token applied doesn't hit, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets up to a specified maximum amount. That's another chance to step up to the plate and bet on the action out there on the diamond. Go to your BetMGM account today to claim your bet insurance token and get your stake back in bonus bets if your MLB wager using the token doesn't win. Only at BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks and official sports betting partner of MLB. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. This U.S. promotional offer is not available in D.C., Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. For West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts, until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchisor SPP LLC.
Jason Minix here from the Blitz. With the NBA playoffs here, you want to get in on the action and have fun watching the games the way I do? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app and start playing their pick'em game, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Select higher or lower on player stats. If your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Endless projections to choose from. You create your own experience. It's a ton of fun to play. I love winning on the pick'em game, obviously. It is fantasy, but legal in Texas. So get signed up at UnderdogFantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. Use my promo code STAR when you sign up, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, they'll give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com.
Who will Jerry pick at 24? Find out right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
All in.
All in.
All in.
Who do you want the Cowboys to take?
Michael Penix.
Or what do you want the Cowboys to do? What do you think Jerry will do? Why do you hate Dak Prescott?
I don't.
He is Dak hater,
It's
Joe
time.
Reinagel.
I
I'm
love
Jason
Dak
Minix.
Prescott. Dak Prescott is a great guy.
Uh-huh.
Great guy. Good in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be a great dad.
Yep.
All of those things. As a person, Dak is awesome.
Yep. But
when he puts that star in his helmet in the playoffs, I don't know. He turns into somebody I don't recognize.
Yeah. The whole team does, which is baffling. But in all sincerity, when you look at the draft tonight for the Cowboys at pick number 24, and it can be two very different answers. What do you think the Cowboys should do? Cowboys will do? Because I think for me, I want a 10-year offensive lineman, and there seems to be plenty of them. Tackle, center, I don't give a damn. Fat guy, offensive lineman. Go back to the days of building through the offensive line, like you did with Tyron, like you did with Travis Frederick, like you did with Zach Martin. You did that with Tyler Smith, who looks like he could be one of those kind of guys. Tyron's gone. Zach Martin is on his way out. Get me one of those offensive linemen in this draft. That's what I want. What do I think the Cowboys might do? If there's a wide receiver right there, if there's an edge rusher right there, how much influence does Mike Zimmer have in the room? Jerry, man, you gave me 1 year. Give me that guy. And it can be two different answers of what you want the Cowboys to do and what you think Jerry will do, because will Jerry pass up that shiny object? Will it be one of those moments where Steven had to grab him by the shirt collar and put him against the wall to keep him from drafting Johnny Manziel, instead taking Zach Martin?
That was a pretty good selection, I guess, as it turned out. Look,
Yeah.
Obviously, the offensive line is what they should do. And if I had my druthers, I'd like to see them trade back about 5 spots and get another draft pick for the one that they lost with that stupid Trey Lance trade, so they get that back. So that's what I'd like to see them do, and then take an offensive lineman. But the beauty of this and what we don't know is what Jerry Jones is thinking. And if for some reason there is a big name wide receiver that just hadn't been taken for whatever reason, I think most of them will be by that time. But it wouldn't shock me at all if Roger Goodell comes out and says the Cowboys were taking that wide receiver from that school. Wouldn't surprise me. What they're supposed to do and what they will do are completely different things.
Now, and we've talked about this the last several weeks. If they were to take a wide receiver, I don't know how mad I would be, but that would also tell me that they better be spot on and prove us all wrong next year with their evaluations that the offensive linemen that they have, that they did draft, are ready to take over. And if they took that tackle, say in the second round or the third round, or that center late, 5th round. I mean, Tyler Biadasz was a 4th round guy. If there's other guys that they think are close to one of those first round guys grade wise, based on their evaluations, that they think they could get later in the draft, and they go wide receiver, I don't know how mad I would be. It's not the order that I would do it, but again, you've got CeeDee, you got Brandon Cooks for 1 more year. You've got 3 different Jalens on the roster, and none of them have stepped up. Although, could Jalen Tolbert in year 3 have a jump like he did, because his rookie year was awful, last year not bad? So can he do that as they look to replace, say, a Michael Gallup? I mean, I can hear the arguments and say, okay, to a wide receiver, if they go defensive line. I don't know that I'd be mad at that either, to be honest, but I want an offensive lineman because it looks like you've got 10-year starter types all over this first in the early parts of the second round.
Yeah, I think for those reasons that you just hammered out on the wide receivers, why they won't take a wide receiver in the first round. Look, you got Jalen Tolbert. He's got to poop or get off the pot.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. It's time. He was a 3rd round draft pick. It's time for him to step up and say that the Cowboys made the right decision with him. So I think you have to, now that Michael Gallup is out, you have to see what you've got in Jalen Tolbert. So he's got to step up to save his career there in Dallas. So I don't think they'll do that. Now, me saying I don't think they'll do it and Jerry proving me wrong, it's kind of like Clarence told us. They're not going to draft the quarterback, and then they end up drafting one. So it's got to be offensive lineman, but I wouldn't be upset, Jason, if it was a defensive lineman. I wouldn't think that would be a bad thing necessarily. They need to upgrade and try and stop the run. That's been their weakness the last several years. You're hoping Mozzie Smith has a better year this year. You get him some help or maybe even some depth there since you lost Hankinson. So that wouldn't be a bad pick if there's a guy there that you like. But my gut tells me they're going to go offensive line because everything Steven said, maybe those guys that you have there are fine, but you still need a little depth.
210-656-ESPN, 656-3776, or on Twitter at Joe Reinigle 210. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always comment there. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel, and we'll see ultimately what they end up doing tonight at 24. But again, who you want or what you think the Cowboys will do position-wise doesn't necessarily have to be player, but is there a position you think they have to address if you're creating the priority board? But then we're also dealing with Jerry Jones, and that's a bit of a wild card. So with Jerry Jones, is there something there that you say, okay, well, it's Jerry, I think they will do this? Because I do think those are two very different questions. And quite frankly, I think the biggest wild card, if a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix is there at number 24, or or a Spencer Rattler.
Wow. Well, Rattler most likely will be. Penix, maybe not. Just some of the mocks that we've seen have him going a little earlier. Bo Nix, I'm not sure. I haven't seen his name a lot in the first round. He could be a second-round guy. That would be interesting. But, again, there's that dude by the name of Trey Lance. What do you do with him? They just release him outright if you draft the quarterback?
I mean, you might trade him for a team that didn't get the quarterback that they wanted. I mean, you know, again, Trey Lance, in all realities, is he a bargaining chip for somebody else that's looking for depth at quarterback if they didn't get the one that they wanted? If Jerry can get a fourth back for him, or in reality, probably a 6th round for him, something. But if they're willing to move on from Trey Lance this quickly, they brought him in, they kicked the tires, they decided to move on. And I have no problem with the team doing that. I don't like the price that they gave up for Trey Lance, but the idea of going out and getting him when they didn't make a lot of sense when they did it. But at least we know that they kicked the tires and they looked and they decided, yeah, you're not our guy. Or maybe they flip him into something of a little bit more value. Who knows?
Who knows? A lot of these questions are going to be answered beginning tonight when the draft kicks off. And I'm looking forward to it. And this is the beauty of talking about the Dallas Cowboys, because you just don't know. And especially this year, Jason, I don't know. You've been covering the Cowboys for a long time. I have never seen a year like this in the offseason that the Cowboys have just been this inactive. And just talking about, hey, we're lining up what we got and we're going. At least that's the plan as we stand right now.
The draft starts in 3 hours, 28 minutes, 51 seconds. Come join us here at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. And, you know, you think about this weekend, if you're going to fire up the grill, before you do that, you need to get into Tri-County Meat Market, because you know that great meal starts with great meat. Tri-County Meat Market, locally owned, full service. They have everything you need to up your grilling game. I know I've got to do a nice steak this weekend for my wife's birthday. Probably go with a bone-in ribeye, maybe a tomahawk, something nice like that for a nice birthday dinner. Maybe you want to do some beef ribs, some pork ribs, baby back, some St. Louis style, doing fajitas, poppers. Because, you know, it's one of those weekends, especially Saturday, you know, maybe you want to do some nice wings where you're just kind of grazing and grilling all day while watching the draft and playoff basketball. Tri-County has what you need with the quality you expect, and you could always take advantage of their Pick 5 for 25. Tri-County always offers a 10% discount for military and first responders. 2 great locations on Ralph Fair Road and on Huebner, online at tricountymeat.com.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Fiesta Friday on the Morning Huddle, post-draft day 1. Did the Cowboys get what you were after, or did they get what Jerry was after?
Plus, who across the NFL did the best and who did the worst? We have all of the answers, all the takes, and all of the grades. The Morning Huddle starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-279-0433 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-279-0433. That's 800-279-0433. What do you have to lose? Call 800-279-0433. Again, 800-279-0433.
$5 won't get you much food these days, even on a value menu, unless you're at KFC. With the new taste of KFC deals, you can get a hot, juicy drum and thigh, creamy mashed potatoes and gravy, and a flaky, buttery biscuit starting at just $4.99. Son of a bucket, that's a good deal. The new taste of KFC deals starting at just $4.99. It's finger-licking good. Prices, participation, and product offering may vary. Tax, tip, and fees extra.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More, there's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door, it's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. We are live at the Roo Pub at 281 and Redland Road as we get ready for the NFL Draft, which is just a couple hours away. You can watch it with us here at the Roo. If you're not near a TV, obviously we'll have all your draft coverage here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. In fact, we'll head out to Detroit, talk to our buddy Q Myers from ESPN Radio. He's in Detroit, was in for Greeny today, will be tomorrow as well. He joins us at 4:15, but man, lost in all the draft talk. It may be a mistake by the NBA as we haven't talked about playoffs. And as you think about the NBA, before we talk any basketball, happy birthday, Tim Duncan.
Timmy.
Timmy.
It's his birthday, yeah.
Yeah, it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday,
He's still
Timmy.
21.
Always will be 21.
The GOAT celebrating his birthday today, watching, not his former team in the postseason. But I tell you what, last night was an interesting night of basketball because Boston was a 14.5-point favorite over Miami. No Jimmy Butler. They're playing at home, and they got run on their own floor.
Dude, I don't know what it is about Miami, but Boston just has something between their ears about Miami. It's crazy. I mean, they lost to them last year, if you remember that incredible run of the Miami Heat last year and playoff Jimmy. And Jimmy Butler trolling the Boston Celtics right afterwards. He didn't play last night, and I think the Heat hit like 23 three-pointers or something ridiculous like that last night. But it begs the question, Jason, and I was thinking about this earlier today. Is Eric Spoelstra the best coach in the National Basketball Association right now?
Yes.
I think he is. I think it is, and it's not even close. He is the best head coach in the NBA right now.
When you look at what Spo has done the last several years, and there's something about that team that is able to turn it on when they get to the postseason. And you think about everything that Eric Spoelstra has done, and it's not a knock on Pop or, any of the other guys. I mean, because I know, Pop's probably going to go down as the greatest of all time,
right.
But the greatest right now is Eric Spoelstra. And there's just no doubt what he is able to get out of his players there. They should not be matched up right now and even competitive with Boston when you look at their current rosters and you look at the injuries that Boston is dealing or that Miami is dealing with, especially without their best player. But the play designs, the matchups, the timeouts, the situational basketball, what they do coming out of timeouts. Yes, I think Eric Spoelstra is the best coach currently in the NBA.
I don't think there's any question about it, and I'm glad you said that. This is not a disrespect to Greg Popovich, because he probably will go down as the best of all time. But as it sits right now, with what Eric Spoelstra has to work with, and they've still got some good players, even without Jimmy Butler. But I'm watching that game last night, and it's remarkable. Now, look, you got to make shots if you're going to take those shots. But those guys just play disciplined basketball. And they know exactly where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. And I think it confuses the hell out of Boston in some circumstances. And last night was just Boston just could never catch up. They were always there, but Miami would do something just to push that, stiff arm them back. And it was a great game. I loved watching that game last night.
Well, and I look at Boston, and we saw this last year. They're just getting out-coached. And, Boston has probably the best team in the East. Boston should represent the East in the NBA Finals. But you wonder if the coaching will be the biggest hiccup there. And we saw this last year as well. And again, Ime Udoka, you just wonder if he were still there, what this Boston team would be like. Because Joe Mazzulla, it's just, was he ready for the job? He took the job. He still has the job, but and you wonder if they fail again this year, how long he has that job into the offseason.
No, I don't think he has it. But I look at the Boston Celtics, and they're a great regular season team. They get to the postseason, and something happens.
Here we go.
Kind of reminds you of something.
Yeah, here we go.
So the Boston Celtics are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. And I'm not saying they're going to lose this series. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And Jimmy Butler, I don't think he's back for a game 3, possibly.
He won't be for a while.
He's back for a while. Anyway, I don't know what it is, but they just seem to fold in the postseason. They're not good postseason players. And it leads you to believe, even if they do get by Miami, will they make it to the NBA Finals? And then certainly you got to look, if they do, Denver whacks them. So I don't know what it is about Boston as they're assembled right now. During the regular season, they're tough to beat. But, boy, the postseason, they are vulnerable.
Is it a swing and miss for the NBA? And we'll find out when the ratings come out. Tonight, night 1 of the NFL draft. Knowing that the NFL draft is going to dominate. It's not even a game, but it's the draft, and it will win the night on ESPN, on NFL Network. Yet you do have 3 playoff games tonight. And I have to admit, unless I'm sitting here at the Roo Pub still late tonight, or even if I'm at the house, it'll be on the second TV because I'll be watching the draft. The game that I want to watch tonight that I'm most in, actually, there's 2 NBA games I do want to see tonight. I could give a damn about Cleveland, Orlando, but the Knicks and Sixers, that game in Philly, the early game, 6 o'clock game on TNT, but the late game, Denver and LA, that game will start probably about the time the Cowboys are going to be on the clock. I'm guessing around 9 o'clock, right? So I don't know how much basketball I'm actually going to watch tonight. I'm more interested in what's happening in the NFL, and we're talking about the draft. I am surprised that the NBA didn't just take a day off. Take a knee tonight because you're not going to win the ratings battle.
I was shocked, too, to be honest with you. I figured this would be a good off day for everybody, but they got to keep that schedule going. The second half of that Laker-Nuggets game is going to be great, isn't it? Because that's probably what we'll see if the Lakers are still in it. And they've got to win this game tonight. They cannot lose tonight.
Are you calling it a must-win?
It's not a must.
Oh, you sound like you're calling it a must-win.
It's close to a must-win game.
Okay.
Officially, the definition of a must-win game, it's not.
But you're almost calling it a must-win.
It's almost a must-win. And so I hope they lose it tonight. I honestly do, because I would love to see Denver have a broom, sweep them out of the playoffs, listen to LeBron cry, and then decide what he's going to do, who he's going to play for next year.
I can imagine TV ratings tonight across the country. The NFL is going to win with the NFL draft.
It's king.
But I'm curious though. Take New York and Philadelphia. You've got the Eagles, you've got the Giants, and you got the Jets in that area. How does the draft compare to that basketball game early? And I think that will be a tell. Denver with the Nuggets, LA doesn't care anyway. But when you look, I'm curious in those markets tonight, in Cleveland for that matter, although I'm just curious where they have the NBA and the NFL. And you've got that tonight in, all the markets that are playing except for Orlando. And Orlando, you got a couple of Florida football teams that I'm sure have great interest there.
You think anybody's watching the Magic in Orlando?
Oh, well, I would imagine somebody in Orlando is watching it on.
They might have 2 or 3 people.
At a sports bar in those cities, what's on? The games with sound, the games or the draft? And I'm talking about with sound. So,
draft.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
It is amazing to me that the NBA, and maybe it's arrogance, that they have 3 games tonight. Last night we had 2. You could push them back for the weekend. I would have thought that tonight we would have had no NBA playoff games, because I have a feeling that when the ratings come out tomorrow, it's not going to be pretty for the NBA.
It won't be pretty for the NBA. It's kind of like the NFL going up against them on Christmas Day. Again, like the NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, all of it is like a distant competitor to the NFL. Right now, the NFL is king of the world when it comes to pro sports. It's not even close. And when you're talking about, and we were talking about it early in the break, you look on ESPN, Laura Rutledge has got her, Oscars outfit on for tonight. Jane Slater, you saw her, she had all her.
She was all sparkly
her
today.
Prom dress on too. So it's almost like an Oscars night or something big like that they're turning this into. And it is. There will be more people watching this draft than anything else, and it won't even be close.
Yeah, like I appreciate, Astros are awful this year. And I haven't figured out the Astros. It's not a bad team. It's bad pitching, bad bullpen. They're not a bad baseball team. They're getting no offense. You just have guys that aren't getting it done. But
it's early, Jay.
You look at that roster.
It's April.
It is April. But my goodness, I don't think anybody expected the Astros to be this bad. Currently losing 3-1 to the Chicago Cubs. But NBA playoffs, it's your marquee, and you're making me choose, and I'm going to choose football. I'm going to choose the draft over watching NBA playoffs. And I don't know if that's sad or just
it's just the way it is.
The reality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are that way. It's the second TV. I'll catch up with highlights. I'll do all of that. If I see on Twitter that, say, Philly and New York are coming down to the wire, I might switch over and watch that. Might.
What? You're not going to do that and miss a pick? You're not going to do that.
Depends on who's on the clock.
Well, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
And think about it. Think about what we're saying. It would be so much easier to watch basketball and follow the draft on Twitter so you don't miss a pick. But I consume it all, between ESPN and the NFL Network, the features on the guys, the instant analysis, your reaction to it. We eat it up. Yet I would rather watch that than the end of a great basketball game. I think if it's, 96-93 with a minute to go, I might go basketball and catch up on the NFL.
Maybe.
But I'm not going to see what led to 96-93.
If it's a game 7, I might do that.
Well, it's not a game 7.
A game 3, no, I can handle it. I'm going to be watching because I don't care who's on the clock. I want to see, just in case there's a little drama, a trade, something that somebody does, or a pick that wasn't expected. That's what I love about the NFL draft. You never know what teams are going to do and what their needs are and what kind of negotiating is going on behind the scenes. And I want to see that. Basketball is game 3. I'm fine with missing it tonight. And I'll watch the highlights in the morning on ESPN.
Yeah, catch up with it and go from there.
Now I'll watch the second half of the Nuggets-Lakers game because I think the draft will be over by then.
It should be, although the idea that tonight's draft, and obviously that's why they do round 1 like they do, even if they know who they are, it's a TV show. You've got to keep that in mind. They've got to show all the features that they've done, all the production work that has gone into these. So even if a pick is in, it might take a while before Roger Goodell gets to the stage and announces the pick. And one thing that we might not see tonight are the players giving Roger Goodell those big bear hugs.
Why is that?
Well, he recently had back surgery. And so the bear hugs might be a problem for old Roger Goodell tonight.
Well, I feel bad for Roger. Although Roger's rich, he's got a good-looking wife. I don't feel too sorry for him.
Yeah, but they're not going to bear hug the guy.
Well, why not? I would. Now I'd really make a point of it, especially on a big fat guy lineman. Why not go up and, hey, Raj?
And give him the big bear hug and then have the guy laid out on the floor and you don't get your photo with the jersey because he's getting stretchered off.
That would be the biggest ovation of the night. I don't know why people hate Roger Goodell so much.
Because he's the commissioner?
I guess so.
I think by law, Adam Silver might be the one guy immune from this right now, but typically fans hate the commissioner. It comes with the job territory. It's like being quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You get paid a whole lot of money to take all kinds of arrows.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Dak does a good job of taking those arrows, but he deserves each and every one of them.
Deserves each and every one of them.
Each and every one of them. He deserves it.
Yep.
I love you, Dak.
I do. Love the guy.
Interesting question on YouTube. Steve Canto, if it was a choice between the NFL draft and Spurs playoff game, man, I wish I had that option, Steve.
Yeah, since I don't have the option, I won't answer it.
I will say when the Spurs were in the playoffs, if you remember all those years ago when the birthday boy was still playing, Tim Duncan, and we had that option, I think it was certainly Spurs basketball.
Yeah, with the big 3.
Yeah, it was Spurs
absolutely.
Basketball. If my distant memory can remember that, but the Spurs aren't playing tonight. And yeah, I know you could go picture in picture, Miguel. Hell, I've got 2 TVs in my living room, but one might be on basketball, but one might be on the NFL Network, and one might be on ESPN. You see what I mean?
I do.
Decisions.
I don't have 2 at a phone. And so this phone might be on basketball, where I can just keep up and watch.
Have it on an iPad.
Yeah,
because your phone's going to be looking at Twitter.
Well, probably.
Or
so,
knowing
yeah.
you playing solitaire.
No, not while I'm watching sports. I don't do that. Now, when that's over, maybe.
I'm with you.
Looking forward to the draft, though. And I'm happy we don't have to make that decision tonight. And it would depend on what playoff game. If the Spurs were an 8 seed, I don't know. That's a good question, Steve. Good job.
Yeah. And like El Babo on Twitter says, just DVR the draft. No. Can't do that. Charlie Posos on Twitter tweets at Joe Reinigle 210 at Jason Minix. Last year draft $6 million. Monday's Lakers Nuggets game $4.25 million. Pretty close. Do you guys really want to watch draft picks, put hats on, and shake the commissioner's hand that bad?
Yes.
I'll be watching the game and following the draft on my phone. You know, Monday's game, $4 million. Think about that. Last year's draft, 6. You might say pretty close, but that's a lot of people in the TV world, and that was a lot of people watching a close Lakers-Nuggets game and watching the Lakers blow it with no other option, no competition. So let's see what tonight's rating is for that Denver game with the Lakers, with the competition that they're going to have tonight from the NFL with dudes shaking hands with the commissioner and putting on hats.
Well, Charlie will be there, so enjoy the game, Charlie.
I think Charlie's lying.
I don't know. He's a pretty good guy. He probably wouldn't lie.
But the second half, the draft's over, then you're going to see a spike in the number for the NBA.
Yep.
That's what I would anticipate. Or you could come here to the Roo Pub where we are right now, because they will have the draft on and they will have the basketball on those 3 massive 170-inch TVs that are to my right here at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Draft 3 hours, 4 minutes, and 43 seconds away.
Can't wait for that. And I tell you what, if you're like me, I can see those screens clearly. Most of you can too, because they're so big, but I can see the one in the corner very well. And it's all thanks to my good friends at Parkhurst New Vision. Had lens replacement surgery about a year ago, and I am just thrilled with the results. And, you know, one of the best things about being a Parkhurst New Vision customer is I follow them on social media, and you see all the happy patients that are just glowing with the reviews for Parkhurst New Vision. And I just saw one just earlier this week from somebody, well, that I know very well. His name is Jeff Traylor. He is a UTSA head football coach, and he had his eyes done at Parkhurst New Vision, and he had glowing reviews of Dr. Parkhurst and the staff there at Parkhurst New Vision. And why not? They are absolutely the best in the business. You can have glowing reviews as well. All you have to do is take that first step and call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020. You can also check them out online at sanantoniolasik.com. And look, when you call them, you set up that initial consultation. Go in there. As soon as you walk through the door, you're going to feel like family. But have your questions ready. They'll explain to you the process that they're going to go through to make sure that you are a candidate for what it is you want to do. They're very thorough at Parkhurst New Vision. That is just how they do business. Why don't you become a satisfied patient like I am, like Jeff Traylor is? Get it done. Take the first step. Parkhurst New Vision. That phone number again, 210-585-2020.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Walk right through the door. It's all here to explore. With guides in the know and prices so low, it just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Don't pay retail. Ringer gift. Come to cleanorigin.com. Founded by a leading family in the diamond industry for more than a century, we're experts in lab-grown diamonds because that's all we do. Clean Origin, the only diamond jewelers who give you a 100-day, no questions asked return on your purchase. Head to cleanorigin.com or one of our retail stores and mention code radio10 for 10% off your purchase. That's cleanorigin.com, code radio10.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road. Texas weather this time of year means storms, wind, rain, and hail. You know, if you were hit with the recent storms and you think you have roof damage, don't make the situation worse by putting your faith in one of those out-of-town storm chasers. Work with a local roofing company with years of experience. Work with a company whose people live in our area and deal with the same weather we do. That's Stevens Roofing, 210-785-0994. Or you can get them online at stevensroofing.net. Buy local, stay local, trust local with Stevens Roofing.
Calling all children ages 8 to 16. HEB and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing a youth football clinic to you on May 4th from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. at East Central High School in San Antonio. You can do skills and drills just like the pros. Register for your chance to participate at dallascowboys.com/HEB. Camp is limited to 150 athletes per session, so sign up today. Purchase not required. To register, parents must be 18 years of age or older and a Texas resident. The promotion ends April 25th. For official rules and important details, visit dallascowboys.com/HEB.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the NFL draft gets underway tonight. First round, the Dallas Cowboys currently set to pick 24th. As of right now, the Texans do not have a first-round pick. You can catch all of the action on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM and San Antonio's ESPN 1250, all beginning at 6 o'clock. Could Zeke Elliott make a return to Dallas? Well, CBS Sports is reporting the Cowboys are meeting with Elliott's representatives.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
And for the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minutes.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. A couple hours away from the start of the NFL draft. Come hang out with us. And then watch the draft here tonight. What are you laughing at?
Well, I love this. On Twitter, Slander has got a nice tweet to you, to me, and to Pledge. And it says, say hello to Jason Prescott.
Dude, you guys that can
that's awesome.
Photoshop it's Dak's head on a Boston Celtics jersey.
That is fantastic.
You know, you get that until you don't. I mean, you got to prove it, and that's why he's going to get
55, 60, 65, 80 million, whatever it ends, he ends up getting. That's what it's going to be. Hey, no surprise, the Cubs beat the Astros. It just goes final 3-1. Jose Altuve looks distraught.
Well, he should.
WTF is going on with this Houston Astros baseball team?
Yeah, it's a rough and rocky start. Nobody predicted this. It's crazy.
It really is.
But it's early.
It is early. We'll head to Detroit here in a bit, talk with Q Myers from ESPN Radio about the scene right now in Detroit, seeing it on television. And if you've gone to an NFL draft in recent years, I know I was up in Dallas a few years ago for it. Pledge was in Kansas City last year having pledgegasms at the CJ Stroud pick. Although he really wanted Bryce, not CJ, but he was still beside himself. And then the Will Anderson trade, I thought the guy was going to have a coronary. But he made a great video, which seems so, I don't know, staged, but it works for him. It's there, and you're gonna see that tonight. But when you think about the draft coverage, and I see Nick Saban on television as we speak, tonight's coverage is going to be interesting because Bill Belichick is going to be a part of draft coverage tonight. Nick Saban is going to be part of draft coverage. Saban is going to be doing that thing with Pat McAfee, and I'm curious what those guys are going to be like on television. I typically watch the main broadcast with Greeny and getting all the instant analysis, if you will.
Yeah.
And not the sideshow stuff. But I am curious what Belichick is going to be like on television. I am curious what Nick Saban is going to be like on television.
Well, I think Saban's going to be fine, and Belichick will too. I just hope Belichick doesn't give draft advice because he's horrible at it. Or he certainly had been in the latter part of his career. He's not been a very good drafter. So as long as he talks about something else, maybe, but don't tell me, well, the Cowboys ought to do this here. And I hope they're not listening because he's just been horrible in the draft in the latter part of his career.
Yeah. They're still good. I mean, what kind of personality are they going to have?
I think it'll be good. Well, Saban I've seen, and I think Saban is fine. And Belichick will too. I think we'll see a different side of Bill Belichick. He was guarded at his press conferences with his hoodie on and the things that he would do. But I think you'll see a different side of Bill Belichick. I really do. And I think he's going to surprise us all, I think, with how good he's going to be at it. I mean, they wouldn't hire him. They know how he's going to be, right? They wouldn't hire him if he's like he is in his press conferences.
Well, I mean, he's Bill Belichick. They would.
I don't know.
And again, I mean, you don't hire Bill Belichick for his personality, but you do hire Bill Belichick for, I don't know, what is he, 108 years old?
At least.
And he's been in football for 115 years.
Yeah.
All that knowledge, all that experience. And what I hope to get out of Bill Belichick is what I have seen from a guy like Jason Garrett. And Jason Garrett on television is still a little too robotic, but he is more loosened up than what he would do on press conferences. And when you get around any of these coaches and they start telling stories, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
A lot of those stories they can't tell on television, though. But I do think it will be interesting to see what happens. And there's a graphic on TV right now, most career first-round picks, and Bill Belichick by far the most than all the other great coaches that you would think of that had long careers. And as I go to say that, the graphic goes off the TV. But so he's put a lot of guys in the NFL. But I'm curious with all the different coverages and different channels, whether it's ABC, ESPN, ESPN Plus, YouTube, all the different ESPN platforms, what all is going to be going on there and what people are going to gravitate towards the most.
Think about that. All the coverage that's being done tonight for the NFL draft. First round. Obviously, the second and third tomorrow night won't have as big of an audience, and Saturday surely won't. But the first round of the NFL draft, with all the stuff you're talking about, the NFL Network, ESPN, What's Belichick on? Is he on with the Manning brothers?
Maybe. I think he's going to be on the main, more college-focused one with the game day guys.
So, I mean, the big deal that they're making out of it, and that picture of game day that they're showing, because the draft's in Detroit, I mean, you couldn't see any. There's nothing but people.
Thousands.
I mean, just wall-to-wall people standing there, and it's just a great scene. And like, I think the NFL they do it right. They've just done it right, and the popularity continues to grow. And it's just, I mean, the fact that we're sitting here looking forward to the first round of the NFL draft tonight says it all.
Well, we've been looking forward to this for months. It's like Christmas Day.
It is.
It's like Christmas Day. I mean, the excitement level of what's going to happen tonight, the idea of what we want our teams, whether it's an individual player that you're hoping lands on your team, whether it's a position that you know your team needs to fill. And that adds even more drama, because I realize not all, but most people that are listening to this show are Cowboy fans or are most interested in what the Cowboys do. Do they do what you think they will do? Like for me, I want them to take an offensive lineman that will be a 10-year starter, but I've got Jerry Jones as the owner. What do I think Jerry should do? What do I think Jerry will do? And those are two very different answers. They really are. And the Cowboys dominate not just locally, but across the media landscape. Let's head to Detroit. Our buddy Q Myers from ESPN Radio is in Detroit. He joins us next. We'll get an overall feel of what it's like and been like the last couple of days there in the Motor City, but also, you know, he's been talking Cowboys, too, a lot for a guy that covers the Raiders nationally on ESPN. I was listening to Greeny today, and it was an entire Cowboys conversation.
Of course it is.
Hugh Myers joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, I say this all the time, and especially this time of year with Fiesta going on. La Semana tonight with the Toadies playing. Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons, especially this time of year. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You can text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds, because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service, and of course, they're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 to get you out fast. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas. If you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, leaving La Semana, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
Tonight, Friday, and all day Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you're tired of achy joints, your joint pain keeping you from doing what you love, then you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your own body's power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup. Dr. Scheinkup is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call now to learn more about some exciting options in this revolutionary approach to get you long-term relief with no downtime. So what are you waiting for? Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park, Westover Hills, and New Braunfels.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Okay, Kohl's has some epic deals right now that are perfect for early summer prep, and I need to talk about it. I just went and found my entire family tees under $8 and sandals under $30. Not to mention new patio essentials for 30% off, plus Iron Kohl's Cash. So don't wait. If you want great brands and great prices for a great summer, you gotta get to Kohl's. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak? Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun. Fun isn't hard. Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Whether it's food for meetings or company events, EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. And that means all you have to do is sit back and take credit.
Wow, a vegan and a meat lover taco bar? Jill, you're the best.
Oh, all I did was use EasyCater.
Take the credit, Jill.
Well, I guess I sort of
Take it.
invented taco bars.
Too far, Jill. Too far. EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Order 24/7 at EasyCater.com.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent anything.
It's the NFL Draft, live from the Motor City at 6, exclusively on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm at Jason Minix, live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, where we will hang out, watch the draft, 2 hours, 43 minutes from right now. Of course, you can listen to the draft here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The draft taking place in Detroit, is where our buddy Q Myers has been hanging out the last couple of days, doing a lot of work on ESPN Radio nationally, even filling in for Greeny today. We'll be on the Greeny program tomorrow since he's doing all the TV work tonight. Of course, 10 to noon here on at 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Q joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. A couple hours away from the start of the draft, just under 3 hours. Q, what is the buzz like in Detroit right now?
Man, the buzz is great, man. Thanks for having me on the show. The buzz is fantastic. I was just walking, through the streets a little bit, trying to get here to Radio Row a little earlier after I finished up and was one show coming to another show and just seeing all the different fan bases. I thought it was really cool to see all the different fan bases all fired up and have their, jerseys on, painted up, dressed up, looking like they're about to go to a game and realize that they're going to go and hear a player's name selected. But that's the joy and the fun of the draft. Every team feels like that their guy that's going to change the outcome of their franchise is going to be selected tonight, right? Of course, it's more than just tonight, but that's what it's all about, man. The NFL draft is a lot of fun. Detroit has put a heck of a show so far, and I look forward to the next few hours and, of course, once it really gets started.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Q's probably the hardest working man in show business. This guy works nonstop. So we appreciate you taking the time for us, Q. But I got to ask you because we were watching game day here. We're at the Roo Pub. They've got big screens everywhere, and the mass amount of humanity that was behind those guys that were up there on that desk is just incredible. Is it when you see it in person? I can only imagine what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it is awesome. And again, it's cool just to see the flood of people through the streets. And Detroit's done a really good job. They made it a little confusing, but they did a good job of shutting down the streets downtown where we're at right now and just allowing the fans to be able to walk through the streets. And like I said, it made it a little confusing when you're trying to figure out where you're going with your radio equipment in your hand. But we figure these things out, right? And so just being able to check that out, I thought was really cool. And I realized early, because it was really early, that these fans started to flood the streets of Detroit. And so I knew then that, oh, yeah, this is going to be a heck of a showing. And, one of the things about it is Detroit, ever since it was announced that the draft was going to be here, they kept focusing on 2019 and saying, okay, what was it like when Nashville had it? What was it like when Nashville had it? They've really had their eyes focused on being better than Nashville. And Nashville, in my opinion, as the guy who's been to many drafts, I thought it was the best one. I mean, since this thing has been traveling, it was fantastic. But Detroit has put on a heck of a show.
Well, and again, I've known you a long time. You getting lost is not a surprise to anybody. But the idea that, you live and work and you're based out of Las Vegas, and Vegas did a hell of a job with the draft. Jerry World, was just different because that stadium is so big. I'm glad Detroit has done well with the ability to host a major event like this. But it's not necessarily about the city for those of us that aren't in the city. It's about the drama that's going to happen. And as we're a couple hours away, Diana Rossini tweeting out that San Francisco is willing to trade either Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel to try to jump up into the top 10. What is it that San Francisco is after that they're willing to part with one of those two wide receivers?
That is a great question. I mean, I saw that report earlier from Rossini, and I'm thinking, okay, is this a smoke screen? Is this something that they're just putting out there? You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're going to hear so many reports that aren't really real right now, just to see if there's anybody that would bite. But then again, when it comes to Brandon Ayuk, this is a contract situation, so that there's a potential of him being traded. I would think that if you're trading up to get somebody and you're giving up a player like that of that quality, I mean, maybe you're looking at like a Brock Bowers, maybe to go with George Kittle and maybe potentially replace George Kittle. Maybe you're looking at that direction. Maybe you're looking at one of these top-notch wide receivers to actually replace a wide receiver with a wide receiver, like maybe a Rome Odunze in the top 10. It could be one of those guys. I started scratching my head, and I was kind of confused when I saw that report as well. So I think that really everything is on the table. Could it be an offensive tackle? There's some studs there too. So I mean, there's a few options I think San Francisco would have if they actually are interested in making that move.
Well, I think they've got to get rid of one of those guys. I'm not sure that they can pay Ayuk and make it all fit. So that remains to be seen. But that's one of the best things about the NFL draft is the drama, because you don't know. Look, we all know who the first pick is going to be, right? Caleb Williams going to the Bears, and we kind of think Daniels is going to the Commanders. So the draft really starts about number 3, doesn't it, Q?
It really does. It really does. I mean, and look, I'm a guy that roots for chaos. I want to see as many trades as possible. I've heard reports that there could be double-digit trades. I feel like that's a little rich. I don't think that there's really going to be double-digit trades, but that's what kind of the buzz around the streets are. But the Patriots are a team at 3 that really could be in line to trade, because they do know that they need more assets. They need to continue to build that team around. And, they might not even have to trade that far back. I mean, what if they trade back to, say, like number 6? Maybe the Giants want to go up there and get J.J. McCarthy or Drake May, excuse me. Maybe they want to do that. And all of a sudden there's a little bit of a trade there. They get a little bit more draft capital, and they're still not out of the top 10. that's a a trade partner that I've been kind of eyeing for a while now with the Patriots, maybe the Giants, and I mean Raider Nation. And you guys know I'm in Vegas, so of course I cover the Raiders like a glove. Raider Nation still wants the Raiders to get all the way up to 2 or 3 and go get Jaden Daniels, but I think that ship has sailed.
Well, and again, I think Drake May ends up number 3 to New England until I saw the report that he puts ketchup on his steak. I don't know if I could trust a guy that does that, because Arizona to me is the wild card. Do they take Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 4, or do they trade that pick and not take Marvin Harrison?
They could. They definitely could, and it depends on how far back they're going to go. I think that they need a stud wide receiver, right? I mean, they need some weapons for Kyler Murray if you're going to help him continue to grow in this game. Now, DeAndre Hopkins is no longer in Arizona, so I think that they could, but, it's almost sometimes it's just keep it simple, stupid, right? I mean, just go and get Marvin Harrison Jr. and be excited about that player that you think is going to be an absolute dominant dude in the NFL. Like, sometimes it's just that simple. But if a team comes to you and tries to blow you away with an offer, you definitely have to listen. It never hurts to listen. And if, you feel like you could still get a quality player, if you could end up with, maybe a Roma Dunze at the end of, the top 10, and you still get extra capital, I think you feel good about that and you can make that trade. But if you're going to end up getting a wide receiver that is much less, the value of those top 3 guys, you would really have to think long and hard about that.
All right, Q, I've got to ask you about your the Las Vegas LA Raiders.
Yeah, how old are you?
The Las Vegas Raiders now, right? Hearing all kinds of reports that they are looking quarterback. If it's not Daniels, obviously I think that's who they want. Michael Penix Jr. Is that a possibility for the Raiders?
That's what it feels like. That's everything that I've been hearing as of late. And it's funny because I was spending a lot of time talking about Michael Penix and saying that, I could see the Raiders grabbing him, but not at 13. That's too high. But at the end of the day, the more and more I think about it, if they really want him there and that's their quarterback and they can't get the guy that they really want, Jaden Daniels, but they feel like this guy could still be a big-time leader of the team, then go ahead and just pull the trigger at 13, because there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to get him. There's no guarantee they'll be able to get back into the back end of round 1 or he'll be available round 2. It just feels like, there's a chance that 6 quarterbacks are taken in round 1.
Thank you, Myers' phone.
You get me?
Yeah, we lost you for a minute. We got you back. As Q Myers from ESPN Radio joining us here on the Blitz. You hear him every night here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star hosting game night, and he'll be in for Greeny tomorrow from 10 to noon. I'm curious, you're there, all the national media, all of that. It's the Dallas Cowboys, who everybody talks about no matter what city. Yeah. What's the buzz in Detroit about what Dallas does with pick number 24?
Talking about maybe a center, offensive lineman, that would be, par to the course when it comes to the Cowboys. Why wouldn't they? They can go get one of the top 2 corners or centers that I believe that are in the first round. And I wouldn't rule out a quarterback if a quarterback is available. I just wouldn't do it just because of the Dak situation. I would not rule that out as a conversation that's been brought up a few times. And the first time I heard it, I laughed at it. And then the more and more I keep hearing about it, like, hey, there's a chance that this really could happen. I'm thinking, wow, you want to talk about some drama all year long. That would be the conversation all year. What's going on with the quarterback? Hey, you just drafted a quarterback. Hey, when's Dak going to get out of there? So it probably is the most unlikely outcome, but it is a conversation that's going on here. So I think that the Cowboys are in a good spot. I think that they either pick an offensive lineman like a center, like maybe Jackson from from Oregon, or maybe even trade back with a team that's looking to trade back into the back end of round 1 and pick up a quarterback if they're still available. I think they have a couple different options there at 24.
Yeah, Q, I think that's probably what most Cowboy fans are hoping. I mean, they don't have a 4th-round draft pick this time around because of the Trey Lance deal that they made with San Francisco. So if they could come back and maybe pick up a 4th or maybe even another 3rd, I think that's probably what I would like to see happen when it comes to the Cowboys. And I think that is a possibility. But again, they need so many things. You kind of hate to see them move out of the first round.
Right, but if they can collect some extra draft capital, why not? And I'll tell you this, one of the buzzes that I'm hearing about the Raiders is that they want to walk away from tonight with 2 picks. Well, I mean, you look at the draft order. They only have 1 pick right now. So I could see them trying to move up from 44, which is their second round pick, to the back end of round 1 and possibly get an offensive tackle. Or, if the quarterback like Michael Penix is still there, then get him. But I think that the order of operations for the Raiders might be 13, they get Penix, and then they try to get a big offensive tackle like Guyton, possibly out of Oklahoma, at the back end. And so the Cowboys might be their trade partner around 24. That might be their sweet spot where they try to go get that guy. And then that all of a sudden gives you pick 44. It gives you extra draft capital as well. And then maybe the Cowboys could start addressing a couple of their needs that they have. So just something to think about.
Yeah, and again, Guyton seems to be one that is heavily linked with the Dallas Cowboys at the tackle position. So does Mims. So does Powers, the center out of Oregon. And again, for me, I want a 10-year starter on the offensive line, and I think the Cowboys could do that in this draft, but it's Jerry Jones. If Xavier Worthy is there, if there's that wide receiver that's there, Jerry as well as anybody, will Jerry be able to pass up a player like that? He's getting more Al Davis-like in his older age. Give me a speedy wide receiver regardless.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I heard him talking the other day, and that's exactly what I thought of. I thought, man, he is getting very Al Davis-like. I think you hit that right on the head. That's exactly what I thought when he was talking about Dak and his weapons and the fact that they have a salary cap that they've got to deal with. And, yeah, he confused me, but I understood, which means that I've listened to Jerry talk way too many times if I understood what he was saying when he was trying to confuse everybody. So I could see them doing it, but I think that, Stephen Jones and company does a pretty good job of just getting them away from the phones when it's almost time for them to pick. It feels like lately they've done a really good job of kind of keeping him out of the mix, but it's got to be an offensive lineman. It's got to be an offensive lineman that they go with, either a tackle or a center. If not that, then trade back and get some extra picks. It's a deep draft with the offensive lineman, so I think that'd be a good way to go for him.
You're talking about double-digit trade possibilities tonight, Q, and I think that's interesting because I just saw another tweet from Diana Rossini talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars trying to move up in the draft. So I think we have the makings tonight of something that could be really special and very entertaining for NFL football fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the best reality show of all time, isn't it? I mean, this is all fans. I mean, even the Super Bowl is only a couple fan bases. Everyone watches it, but it's only a couple fan bases. The draft, man, it is all the drama in the world. And, all these different fan bases want their team to make this either aggressive move for a certain guy that they've pointed out, or hoping that a guy's going to fall to them that they've pointed out that they really like and enjoy. I mean, it's the greatest reality show. This is literally my favorite event every single year at the NFL draft.
Well, and you worked your hardest at it as well. I know you're on the radio tonight. You're in for Greeny tomorrow. Hardest working man in Detroit right now, and every day with your shows that you do in Las Vegas, running those stations, and then what you do on the network. Q, appreciate you taking some time on what I know is an extremely busy day. We'll catch up soon, my friend.
Absolutely, man. Have a great time out there. Do what you guys do. I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Q Myers from ESPN Radio on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Good stuff from Q Myers there on ESPN Radio. And again, I look at the draft coming up tonight, and there are 3 NBA games. And, I know for me, NBA is going to be on the second TV. But I'll be paying attention and keeping track of what's going on, especially with what I have on my pick'em entry at UnderdogFantasy.com. Because if you want to add excitement to these games, play the pick'em game at UnderdogFantasy.com, where you pick between 2 and 5 players to build your pick'em entry. And all you have to do is select higher or lower on player stats. And if your picks hit, you could win up to 100 times your money. Looking at the Joker right now, higher or lower, 27.5 points. They've got LeBron at 25.5 points, higher or lower, and that's how you build your pick'em entry. And I tell you about times that I win. Last night was not one of those nights. Last night I had one where I had Jalen Williams lower than 14.5 points, and he ended up with 21. So my pick'em entry didn't turn all green last night. We'll see what happens tonight. It's fantasy, but legal in Texas, and certainly a lot of fun to play. If you want to get started, and you should, go download the Underdog Fantasy app or go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with my promo code STAR, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Plus, you'll get a mystery special pick to use on your first pick of entry. Must be over 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com using my promo code STAR.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
On the Morning Huddle, post-draft day one, did the Cowboys get what you were after, or did they get what Jerry was after?
Plus, who across the NFL did the best and who did the worst? We have all of the answers, all of the takes, and all of the grades. The Morning Huddle starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Morning 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Get the last water softener you'll ever own and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE Kinetico.
Visit KineticoSA.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, as we get ready for the NFL Draft, which is happening tonight. Plus, you got some good NBA playoff games tonight that just seems to be taking a back seat. And at least for me, I'm interested in the games, but they're not priority today.
No.
And they should be. I
Game
think
threes.
Look, I know they're game 3s. But you damn near called one a must-win game and caught yourself when you were about to actually say it.
I was, because technically it's not.
But it'd be really, really good if the Lakers are going to stay in this thing to get a win tonight. Because if they go down 3-0, you might as well start booking the trips to Cozumel, and you got to get that Southwest flight to Cozumel while they still go there, because they're about to punt on flying into a couple of places.
Wow, yeah, that was a weird story to read earlier today. Southwest Airlines cutting back a little bit.
Well, here's let's go behind the scenes. You're going to Mexico, from Houston, although not Bush. So Southwest announced today, starting in August, they're going to cut out everything out of Bush. They'll still have Houston Hobby, but they're not going to go to Bush. But they're not going to Cozumel anymore.
No.
And a couple other random spots that I'm surprised they go to begin with. But Joe's got a flight coming up in June from Houston to Cozumel on Southwest.
Yes, but which I'm assuming is still on.
Yeah, you would have gotten the notice by now.
Well,
it's in August, but it is kind of weird when you see that.
It is. It's funny though, because that Cozumel airport is very small. Right, it's a small airport, and you get like one flight in there a day from every airline. They all come and arrive at the same time, and they kind of all leave at the same time. And it's weird. So I could see where that would be one that you could cut back, because you could actually fly into Cancun and take the boat or whatever it is over to Cozumel. So I guess that's what they're figuring. They don't need it. But
look, I just flew out of Destin, Florida, and that's a pretty small airport, and there's not a lot of options on a daily there.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest to get there. By the way, Southwest is going to stop flying to 3 other places as well. Syracuse, New York, Bellingham, Washington. All right, and they're going to implement capacity reductions, whatever that means, in Atlanta and Chicago.
Capacity reduction.
That's what it says.
Now, is that capacity on a plane?
No, they're going to sell every seat they have.
Okay, so just not as many flights.
I'm guessing number of flights a day.
And they're blaming Boeing, right, for this, because they're not getting enough airplanes.
Yeah, they were expecting 46 new planes just a couple of weeks ago in a report, but according to Boeing, they're only going to get about 20 of the 46 that they ordered. Now, my thought, and I look, I don't know how that business side works, but if you're planning to buy 46 new airplanes and you're only getting 20, shouldn't you have more money in the bank and not be losing a couple $100 million since you're not having to pay for 26 planes?
Well, the reduced capacity has something to do with that. And I don't know how the business world works either. I'm assuming that what you pay for a ticket is that the new planes don't come out of that account. It comes out of some other account over here. And
sure.
And there's all kinds of different stuff. So I'm not sure exactly how all that works.
Yeah, well,
I just hope they all have doors that stay closed.
Well, that's part of the problem with why Boeing is a little slow on production.
That's all I care about.
Southwest said they lost $231 million. So if you haven't booked your summer flights yet, it's probably going to cost you more. Although
probably.
Every time I get those emails that talk about a $49 sale, I've never gotten a plane ticket for $49.
Yeah, where is that, from here to Austin?
I mean, you want to go to El Paso? No. Well, that would have been $49.
Yeah, that's.
I've never seen an actual $49 ticket when I see those.
Yeah, they got to do what they got to do. I mean, it's just kind of a weird time for the airline industry. I did see something, though, that I guess the Department of Transportation is trying to push a deal that airlines are going to have to start paying customers back for delays.
Whoa.
So I don't know how that works or I just glanced at it and saw that, but that could be coming down the pike, which, I mean, it would have to be a delay, though, that's out of their hands. I mean, if it's an act of God and there's a thunderstorm and, the airlines can't help that. But if they're just behind, then okay, I'm with that.
And why they're like, as much as we all hate flight delays, it's the reason why that I always look at, like you had a late flight one time because they had to change a tire.
Yeah.
Right. Now, whose fault is that?
Well,
right? I mean, mechanical issues happen.
Sure.
And if they're short on planes, they can't go get another plane just to get this one out of here. That's, I think, a big part of the problem.
Sure.
And as much as I hate delays, if the pilot says we can't take off because of this, if the pilot's not willing to take off because he's not sure it's going to land right, then I'm good with that.
I'm fine with that, too.
I'm going to be a little pissed, but I'm good with it. But we had a flight delay last summer going to the Bahamas. Now, there was a medical emergency on a plane. A guy was having a heart attack, and so we were on the runway. We were going, and then he was having his heart attack or whatever, and so we had to go back. All right, I get that medical delay. Kamala Harris was also flying to the Bahamas at the same time. And apparently we can't be in the same airspace as Air Force One.
No.
So we sat there for 3 hours before we could actually leave. So that, and that kind of that pissed me off. There's got to be other ways. I mean, I'm in the Southwest plane. We're not going to catch up to it. I know that there's other planes protecting Air Force One. She lands and is at the airport, so doing whatever at the airport, so we couldn't land. So we had to sit there and wait.
Y'all were circling or what?
No, we were in Fort Lauderdale waiting to take off. We
Wow.
couldn't even leave, apparently, according to the pilot, until she was done with her stuff. And then, of course, we land and then dealing with the motorcade traffic because of whatever she was going to later. But what bothered me about that is we were on the plane and we couldn't get off the plane, so we had to sit there on the runway. And of course,
that sucks.
It's a plane going to the Bahamas. Everybody is on vacation and in a good mood. And because it's a short flight, the plane ran out of beer before we left and other alcohol.
Sucks.
That
sucks. That sucks. Although a lot of times they won't even serve you if you're just stuck on the plane.
It depends on how long you're late. I don't know.
Either. Well, we got stuck
we got beer.
Last time Maggie and I went to Vegas.
Yeah.
We got stuck because they told us every computer in the state of Texas was out.
Oh,
so they couldn't land plane anywhere in the state of Texas. So I said, well, in that case, I'm good with it. I kind of like the computer that talks to the computer on the plane to work, and everybody's in sync.
I mean, I don't mind a bumpy flight. I mean, if I've got my seatbelt on and the door opens, I'm good as long as it takes off and lands. All right, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Computers didn't work.
That's what they said. Every computer in the state of Texas is out. I said, okay.
All right.
Mine worked.
The computer.
Unless they're getting creative at the airlines these days and saying, we got to come up with a story. We can't just say we're delayed. There's got to be some reason why.
Well, and there will always be something that's in the loophole if they're going to start refunding for delays.
Yes.
But the reality is, I do believe every airline would like to run on time.
Sure.
And not have unhappy customers. Because the lady at the counter is not in control. Don't yell at her. Because she could really screw up your world.
Yes.
Really screw up your world if you really, really, really are a jacket. Wagging about it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not yelling at anybody. I mean, there's just no reason to. If you can't, there's nothing anybody can do about it. What good does it do to yell at somebody?
Oh, it makes you feel better.
No, it doesn't make me feel. Then I feel like a big donkey after that, and like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, that's you, but there's a lot of people. And then you could find yourself in a viral video.
Well, you could.
In today's world.
You could.
Which,
that man is not real. Yeah.
She has really cashed in on that video.
Yeah, she still is, apparently.
Yeah.
I saw an article the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where she's like an OnlyFans star now or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Of course. She's trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, wait. Hey, it's a great country, isn't it?
It really is.
Just throwing around the word star, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cleveland, Orlando, early game tonight in a series nobody really gives a damn about.
That's going to be a sweep. Come on.
New York, Philadelphia. This is one of those series where if you're a Sixer fan, you feel like you should be up 2-0. Instead, you're down 0-2.
Yeah,
the Knicks have that series lead. Joel Embiid, though, proclaims they are still going to win that series.
Guaranteed to win.
I think that's going to be a hell of a game as that series is shifted back to Philadelphia. And the old saying that a series doesn't really begin until the road team wins.
Yep.
Can New York get a win at Philadelphia today and go up 3-0 in that series.
Going to be interesting to see. I mean, we'll see if Embiid can make that happen for his team. Obviously, they would like to win both of these games, take it back to New York tied 2-2. And I think they will. I mean, this series has that look. Now, Embiid's still a little bit dinged up, but I think this series has that feel of a 7-game series, one that will come down to the wire, come down to that last game. And, man, I love Game 7s. In any sport, but particularly the NBA, man. Game 7 is just outstanding.
We all love them. Tonight, a damn near must-win game for LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. Ryan Agalomo said this earlier today, but caught himself.
You have no proof of that.
But it's on tape, sir. But in reality, this is a must-win for the Lakers, a team that they thought they were going to get a win in Denver, and it would have been a hell of a win. Instead, they blow a 20-point lead. They lose at the buzzer. It's LeBron and Anthony Davis with no help. That team, as old as they are, they can't play 48 minutes of basketball against a team like the Denver Nuggets, and they showed that the other night. At home, though, can the Lakers get a win and turn this into a series, or will it be 11 straight losses to the Denver Nuggets and one game away from being swept into vacation?
Boy, just the odds are in the Lakers' favor, aren't they? They've lost 10 in a row to them. And so the odds, you got to figure they're due for a win. LeBron may come up big tonight and get that done. And they're not going to win the series. Denver's just too good. And it would surprise me to all ends if Denver's not the NBA champion once again. They're just good. They're solid all the way around. And Nikola Jokic is just, the guy's on another planet right now. He's playing extremely well. And, I don't give the Lakers a chance, although they might win tonight. Much as I hate to say that.
Well, and again, they need to win tonight.
They do.
Because tonight is a must-win for them.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Not technically.
It's not an elimination game,
no.
But it is a must-win game.
It is a game they would like to win very much.
If they don't win tonight, they've got zero chance of winning this series.
I don't think they have a chance anyway, but their odds improve certainly if they win tonight.
You just won't say it, will you?
I can't. It's not a must-win game.
It really
that
is.
Term is thrown around.
Well, see,
loosely.
now there could be a definition because, what we have learned this Cowboys offseason is definitions might mean one thing to one person and something different to somebody else. See, and my definition tonight is a must-win game. If they win tonight, they still have a chance in this series. If they don't win tonight, Game 4 becomes an elimination game.
That's a must-win game.
Well, tonight's a must-win game. That's an elimination game, which is also must-win.
Yes.
But tonight can be a must-win game because if they don't win it, they are facing elimination in their next game.
You
see what I mean?
Well, I see what
it's
you're
like
saying.
being all in on what, Jerry? I mean, because we all think all in means one thing, and Jerry has not done a damn thing this offseason. It's been an offseason of inactivity after we heard all in. And then he tried to tell us his definition of all in is different than yours. So must win tonight for the Lakers, because if they don't, then they're facing elimination in the next one.
Sure, but in the true sense, I'm going to look that up.
In the true sense.
In the true sense of a must win, because there is always that possibility, Jason, that the Lakers could win 4 in a row and win the series.
I'm sure there's numbers out there from teams that were down 3-0 in a series that came back to win.
Yeah.
I know there's been some teams that were down 3-1 that came back to win in the NBA. It's happened in hockey. I know it's happened in baseball, and it hasn't happened much in basketball.
No, it hasn't.
But tonight's a must win so they don't face elimination.
It's a game that they would
like to have. That's an accurate say. Tonight's must win if they don't want to face elimination in Game 4.
Well, okay, if you put it that way.
Yeah, by definition, that's an accurate
But you've got to add that extra phrase in there.
I don't have to because I think it's assumed.
No, it's not assumed.
It can be assumed.
It's a very important game for the Lakers. One that they would very much like to win.
Is it more important than Game 2?
One that yes.
Why? Because it's the next one?
Well, sure. I mean, you want to get a win.
They would have liked to have won Game 2, get one on the road, split the first 2, right?
They would have liked to, but they didn't do that.
So game 2 in their mind was a must-win. They wanted to get that split on the road, and they failed at it.
So if you're Denver, don't you only want to get a split on the road? So you don't really care if you lose tonight.
The Denver wants the sweep.
You've got the Lakers swinging.
Yeah.
They know. They're just toying with them.
Uh-huh.
It's like LeBron on a yo-yo.
LeBron on a yo-yo.
Yeah, so it's, Denver's got that series.
Yeah.
Big game tonight for the Lakers. Not a must-win.
I thought we just decided it was a must-win if they want to avoid facing elimination.
As long as you add that extra phrase in there.
You come up with so many damn rules, Ryan Eagle.
I'm telling you, the definition is
the world in which Joe Ryan Eagle lives in.
It's a good one. The birds chirp, the grass is green, the flowers are growing.
Uh-huh.
The beer is good.
Yeah.
All of the
fantasy world that you live in.
All in.
All in. Exactly.
All in.
All in.
I am all in.
On.
And I mean it.
On.
Life.
All
in on life.
But you let the littlest things bother you. Like the definition of must win.
Yes, because technically it's not a must-win game for the Lakers. I think
we just determined it's a must-win if they want to avoid facing elimination.
See, all those extra words you have to put in.
I don't have to, except for you, because you want to get caught up on the little stuff.
It is not a must-win in the technical sense.
Now, the Cowboys are all in.
Program. It's just not the World Championship yet.
See? Define your championship program.
Yeah.
Mike added in those extra words just so he didn't get blasted, but he gets blasted either way. Jerry's all in on the draft, is he not?
Yeah, of course he is. Although the Cowboys haven't done anything. I wonder if they'll even make a pick tonight. It'd be the Cowboys thing to just trade out of there and nothing.
Well,
we got nothing to talk about tomorrow at 2:00.
And we're all in with this draft.
We are. But what does that really mean? What do you want the Cowboys to do? What do you think Jerry will do? Those could be two different answers. 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Tweet at Joe Ryan Eagle 210. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always comment there. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. We'll take your calls and talk Cowboys and NFL draft coming up here live from the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road.
Summer is just about here. It's coming up very quickly, and that means your kids are going to be out of school and all of that kind of stuff. You got to find stuff for them to do. Well, the Golf Club of Texas has an answer for you. They've got a golf summer camp coming up this summer. It's in June. They've got 5 different opportunities for you to send your kids to a golf summer camp. What a lot of fun that would be. $150 per junior. Check it out on their Facebook page. You can go there. There's a little QR thing there, a squiggly box that you can take a picture of. It'll give you all the information. But it is a 5-day-long camp. And you're going to get some teaching and all of that stuff. Your kids are going to have a blast. They would love to do that. Golf Club of Texas, their summer camp. Best way to find out information there, you can go to their Facebook page. You can also go to golfclubtexas.com, golfclubtexas.com. Check it out over there. And look, if you haven't been to the Golf Club of Texas lately, you really haven't been to the Golf Club of Texas. The improvements they have made and are still making out there are unbelievable. Whether you're a golfer or not, you want to just take the family out to the Tin Cup. It is the best sit-down restaurant in that part of San Antonio, and it's not going to break the bank to take the family out to eat. They've got a lighted driving range, so the family can have dinner and mom can have drinks. You can hit balls. Whatever you want to do, the Golf Club of Texas can get that done. Get out there and check them out. Briggs Ranch Road, right there off Highway 90, or again, go to golfclubtexas.com, golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas is the friendliest golf course in Texas.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6, KTFM Floresville, and everywhere at sasportstar.com.
George gets justice. If you've been injured, get George, because George gets justice. With over 100 years of combined experience and a relentless dedication to your case, the attorneys at George Salinas Injury Lawyers will fight for what's right. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, get George and get the compensation you deserve. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6580. That's 800-583-6580.
Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why we sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Find new items launching exclusively at Lowe's, like the self-leveling laser level for just $159.98. Plus, shop the Connect socket set for just $49.98. Get Klein tools in-store and online today, because Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com. Over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the UFC fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch a game. The Roo Pub is next to the Angry Elephant and in the same plaza as the Big Blind there at 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
It was not a good day for the folks of Texas when it comes to Major League Baseball. The Houston Astros, they drop one in Chicago to the Cubs by a score of 3-1, and the Texas Rangers at home this afternoon, they lose to the Seattle Mariners by a score of 4-3. And, of course, it is draft night. The NFL draft gets underway tonight. It is the first round. Cowboys pick at 24. As of now, Texans don't have a pick.
Joe Reinagle.
For the third time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Jason Minix. He is grumpy old man Joe Reinagle.
What are you talking about?
The text messages that I am getting after your commercial for the Golf Club of Texas.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you never sounded older, and that's saying something.
Well, I called it a QR code. And then I said, you know what I'm talking about, squiggly little box thing. I mean, how else would you describe that?
All I would say is QR code because everybody knows what you're talking about.
Well, it's
by definition, it's a QR code since you're hung up on exact definitions and meaning. because not everybody would know what a squiggly little box thing is.
Everybody knows what that is.
If you said that squiggly little box, I'm not sure if you didn't say QR code that everybody would have known that you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
But of all people, Jack Thompson, Rob Thompson's son, text me immediately during your commercial. Did Joe just say a squiggly box to describe a QR code? I said he did. He responded with words that I can't say on the radio.
Jack, I'm telling you, you're welcome. You know exactly what I was talking about.
Squiggly little box thing.
I bet you Jack's dad would describe it the same way.
No, Jack's dad would say QR code. His grandpa might say a squiggly little box thing.
Oh, my goodness.
You could call my mother, and she wouldn't know how to do it and would probably be afraid to put her phone there because she'd think things are going to get into her phone if she were to do that. My mother hates the restaurants that don't have menus anymore and will not go if they don't have an actual menu. She won't look at it on her phone because then she'll say, I can't see it and all this other stuff. But she wants a menu to look at.
Well, I prefer a menu to look at, don't you?
It depends on where I'm at. I don't give a damn. It depends. If it's a dark restaurant, the phone's actually better because I can at least read it because it's light.
See, I don't have an issue reading
Well,
things.
it's not seeing it. It's the light. I'm not, and don't tell me you don't do this because I've seen it. Where you get your flashlight out to read the menu. In that case, a QR code would actually work better because I could point my phone at that squiggly little line box thing and then get the menu, and I'm going to be able to read it with no problem because my phone has light.
You see, you knew exactly what I was talking about, the squiggly little box thing. It's perfect for that. And by the way, since last May, I don't use the flashlight in a restaurant, no matter how dark it is.
That's not true.
No, it is true.
You were using a flashlight at that Italian restaurant in Las Vegas we were at during Super Bowl week. And that's been since last May.
Because it was dark.
That's what
you
I'm
guys
saying.
taking me to some romantic Italian restaurant.
I literally just said the only time I need the light is if it's dark, not because you know.
I got you. And I remember the restaurant. That was a nice restaurant.
It was a fantastic restaurant.
It really was.
But you couldn't read the menu without the flashlight, which is where if they would have had a QR code, it would have been much easier.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't have been able to see the squiggly little box.
Well, you would have. You would have seen it because they generally have it right there on the table.
I'm really not sure what the problem is with squiggly little box. I think that describes that thing perfectly.
It just makes you sound really old.
Well, I am really old, so there's that
to our listeners.
So there you are.
I mean, when Jack,
dude, I'm cooler than anybody listening right now. How about that? Cooler than all of you.
Yeah?
Yes.
With your flashlight out trying to find the squiggly little box?
I hope you guys are all out there wanting, if you think you're cool, you're just not quite as cool as I am.
All right, Joe Cool.
There you go. I like that, Joe Cool.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. I think it's been stolen.
Wasn't that Snoopy for Charlie Brown? Wasn't he Joe Cool?
I thought Snoopy was Snoopy.
Oh, Camel cigarettes?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when you were Joe Cool and you would put your cigarettes in your shirt and your shirt sleeve and roll it up?
Never smoked cigarettes, my friend. I've got a lot of bad habits, but that was never one of them.
Smoked a lot of things, just not cigarettes.
Yeah.
At some point, you probably smoked cigarettes.
I did, actually.
So you lied.
In high school.
Yeah.
But you know what's cool about that? My dad was a real heavy smoker, and I'd have to suffer in the back seat with the windows rolled up my whole life. And so
that's how we all grew up that way. My mom's car could not start until she lit a cigarette.
I'm telling you.
In the cigarette pouch that she used to carry. And my parents used to smoke Pall Malls, I think, which are brutal. I was in Marlboros in that 18 to 20 stage, maybe 21. In fact, my first radio name was J. Miles because I got a job at KZEP 104 when it was a classic rock station.
Right.
Chris Winston was the program director who hired me, and he was like, "You've got to come up with an air name." I was like, "Well, all right, I'll come up with them." But at the time when I was working at KTSA and KTFM at the time, back when KTFM was on 102.7. And then I was doing overnights, and my name on KTFM was Layden Stone. And
dude, who came up with that?
Joe Nasty.
Layden Stone.
Joe Nasty came up with that. And Chris said, well, you can't use that one because you were over there. Come up with something different. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to come up with. And buddy of mine, Adam Yanelli, well, we were at some club, and remember those miles that were on the Marlboro cigarette packs, and you would collect all the miles and send them off for free stuff. We were talking to some chicks at some bar, and they had the miles, or their cigarettes were there, and Adam said J Miles, so I would know to get the miles. That's how I became J Miles.
How about that?
For the first month my wife knew me, she thought my name was J Miles.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. So she started dating Jay Miles, and then it turned into Jason Minix. You were like, that's like a new guy.
Not really. It was the same guy. But yeah, it was.
They tried to change my name when I first started working at KTFM back in the day.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't let them.
You wouldn't let them.
Well, I didn't want to.
You wanted to just be Joe. What did they want to change your name to?
Joe Boxer.
Joe Boxer.
Remember the drawers underwear?
Yeah. I could see that. You were the sports guy working with Miss Ree and Joe Boxer.
Yeah, Joe Boxer. I said, nah, I'm good. And so they didn't make me, which was nice, and I appreciated that. So they let me just go with the hard name, Joe Reinagel.
Joe Reinagel. Drex must have loved that.
Drex, man, that dude taught me more about radio than anybody.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was.
Yeah.
He was. Joe Nasty, whose real name was Dennis.
Drex. I can't remember his real name. Huh. It'll come to me.
You think about people's real names and what you have in your phone and what their real names are.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember like CJ Cruz from back in the day working at KZEP and knowing her real name and going, man, how'd you come up with CJ Cruz? And everybody has a variety of stories on how they came up with their radio names.
That's pretty cool. CJ Cruz, very nice.
She's the best.
Yeah. So, but I don't know her real name.
Oh, you don't?
I don't know her that well. I know her, but I don't know her that well.
Yeah.
I mean, to get to know her real name and all.
Trisha.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Now I know.
Now you know. Radio names.
Squiggly little boxes.
Squiggly little box.
They have real menus here at the Roo
Pub. I think your radio name, you could go over, let's see. Well, you could go on Jack FM. You could just be Squiggly Box.
Squiggly Box.
Squiggly Box in the mornings.
That.
Yes.
Now, that would be catchy.
Squiggly Box on Jack.
Hey, we're going to listen to Squiggly this morning.
Yeah, Squiggly Box on Jack.
I could do
1027.
I could do double duty.
Yeah.
Little Jack FM in the morning.
Don't say that out loud.
I know.
They'll put you to work without raising
Lance's
your pay.
ears just perked up, did it?
Hey, you're working for free, huh? Good thing there's no jocks on Jack. Good Lord. Squiggly Box.
Or Joe Squiggly, according to Lloyd D.
It could be Joe Squiggly.
That's not bad.
Hey, you got to be Squiggly Box.
Squiggly Box.
You'll just be a QR code. Be like that guy that's all over Instagram right now that has a shirt with the chicken at Costco. He made a shirt with the QR code on there, the Squiggly Box on there. Yeah, because he doesn't want the infrared rays hitting his chicken, is what he says. You haven't seen that video?
I have not.
Yeah, the guy made the whole shirt and everything. And again, if you want to put a Squiggly Box on a T-shirt, Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. He'll get you taken care of. You can get anything screen printed on your T-shirts. Go see Sam for that. You want your company logo, business logo, a Squiggly Box on a hat? Sam has over 25,000 hats in more than 75 color combinations on display in his showroom, including the popular Richardson 112 style trucker caps. If you need your logo on like a nice fishing shirt, man, and he's got all the fishing shirt lines in his showroom, or a golf shirt as you start getting ready for the summer months, your logo on a dress shirt, go see Sam. He's got all the big name brands, North Face, Eddie Bauer, Nike, Travis Matthew, Port Authority, to name a few. Over 700 uniform lines to choose from. Sammy's Embroidery and Printing. Nobody has better prices. Sam has all the big name brands, and he's the only company in Texas with one-day turnaround. No order too small, certainly no order too big, and all items do come with the warranty. Call 210-824-3900. 824-3900. Or better yet, go by that massive showroom on San Pedro, 1 mile inside Loop 410, next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. Or check the website, samsembroidery.com, for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
It's the 2024 NFL Draft on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
We're the 24th pick. The Dallas Cowboys select.
Tonight, Friday, and all day Saturday, join 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star for this year's NFL Draft, live from Detroit.
I love the tenacity and the aggression with which he plays. He is a mauler.
Who do the Cowboys and Texans pick? Does Jerry make a splash? Who goes number one? And who's the next Mr. Irrelevant?
The Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud.
We don't ever want to pass on the guy you ought to be taking there, but still be position
I
selected.
thought Sauce Gardner would be the first corner, but you go back to 2019, and that version of Derek Stingley is as good as anybody in this entire draft class.
Find out right here on your exclusive home for the NFL Draft. 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States, it's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts, until now. Because with Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon franchise or SPG.
90 Proof Bar and Grill is the ultimate spot to catch a game and satisfy your cravings. Kitchen's open till midnight every day, serving up delicious bites to fuel your hunger. Plus daily drink specials. Make every night a winning night at 90 Proof Bar and Grill, corner of Highway 90 and Lucky Ranch.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancement pill that's fast, effective, and was designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax.
Touchdown!
A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax. 100% natural male enhancement formulas only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Drink responsibly, B21. eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines.
Drink responsibly, B21.
It's the NFL Draft, live from the Motor City at 6, exclusively on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagle. I'm Jason Minix, live at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. You know there's no better place to go watch any big game any big event like tonight with the NFL draft. And with NBA playoffs tonight, you need some place to be where there's multiple screens, and there's no better place than the Roo Pub. And no better person to talk to about the NFL draft than our good friend, the great John McClain. Glad you're feeling better and joining us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, and look, pneumonia can knock a lot of people out of a lot of things, but I know it's not going to keep you away from draft coverage. How you feeling, my friend? That was wonderful. He's not that good. I got a dial tone. Pledge, is John there and ready?
Apparently not.
Oh, he apparently dropped.
We'll get him back.
Yeah, we'll get him back.
Because I want to talk to John about the Texans. I mean, to see getting any indication, will they try to get into the first round of the draft somehow?
Well, it becomes a big question, and I would like to think what I feel like I know about Nick Caserio is he gets pretty aggressive this time of year. He likes to get on the phone and he likes to make some deals, but at the same time, being financially conscious of not having a first rounder this year, knowing they had 2 last year, when it's time to pay those guys, you wonder if he will be aggressive in trying to move up to the first round. Although if there's somebody there that he wants, I wouldn't be surprised if they go get him, because they certainly seem to be a team that is all in trying to get something accomplished, and that means win a Super Bowl, while C.J. Stroud is on his rookie deal.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and that's smart. I love the aggressiveness that they had, not only last year in the draft, and that was the first, mouth hanging open, right? Was last year with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
Well, and again, the Stroud pick, not a surprise.
Yeah.
The moving back up was John McClain. We've connected. He joins us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, glad you're feeling better and back to work as we get ready for the NFL draft today. How you feeling, my friend?
I feel great, guys. Best night of the off season.
that it is. It's
Yes.
like Christmas Day. Although,
it really is.
Will the Texans have anything to unwrap on this Christmas Day? Do you think Nick Caserio will get aggressive and try to trade into the first round?
No, he's never traded into the first round, trade into the second, into the third. All we know is he will make trades.
Well, John, I've got to ask you then, what is it that Caserio and D'Amico Ryans are looking for in this draft? Where do you see the need for them when they do finally get to pick tomorrow night?
Defense, and more defense. I have a mock draft I did on HoustonTexans.com of their 9 picks. I had 6 defensive, 3 offensive, first 3, defensive tackle, cornerback, and safety. Because of the schedule they play and because of the quarterbacks they go against, they got to get every player they can who can pressure those quarterbacks and who can cover those receivers.
And again, a defensive-heavy draft, and with so many picks to choose from, do you think Caserio, who will use all of those picks on players in this year's draft, or does he trade them to get picks in maybe next year or the year after?
The deal he did with Minnesota got him an extra 2 next year, 5 and a 2 this year to give up his 123rd overall. So he's going to make trades because he always makes trades. And right now he has 7 picks next year. So I look for him to end up with maybe 7 players in this one. He's averaged 7 players in his 3 drafts, but we know he's going to make trades. And I'll guarantee you there'll be a pick or 2 for the future.
John, I love what Caserio's done, and I love the aggressiveness, especially this offseason with Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs, and I love that. In fact, all the national media talking about Houston. There was one guy today said that he thinks that the Houston Texans, not the Buffalo Bills or the Baltimore Ravens, are the biggest challenge to the Kansas City Chiefs as we speak.
I'm guessing he hasn't looked at their schedule and sees they play 5 division champions, 11 games against teams with winning records, and quarterbacks Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence, Tua Tagovailoa, Caleb Williams, among others.
Yeah, absolutely. The great John McClain joining us here on the Blitz. And I think about what's fascinating with as great as last year's draft was for the Houston Texans. This year, as you mentioned, a defensive heavy draft is what we expect. Looking at a roundup of various mocks of what we think the Texans will do with that second round pick, 42 overall. I see the corner out of Michigan on a lot of people's mock drafts, and then another defensive lineman out of Michigan, that defensive tackle, Chris Jenkins, on a couple. Cowboy fans are gun-shy from drafting from the University of Michigan, considering Taco Charlton and Schoonmaker, even though they're a national champion. And I know Joe has said a couple times, anybody but from somebody from Michigan.
Yes.
Is there a Michigan fear that should be real? Is that real, or do you just go with the best player and hope that it works out in your system?
I think the scare is the people who draft them and the people who coach them. I have the Texans using their first pick in the second round on Florida State defensive tackle Braden Fiske. The second round pick, I have the corner TJ Tampa from Iowa State. And then their third round pick, I have a safety Kalen Bullock from USC. And if they did take a Michigan player, I'm pretty sure it would be Chris Jenkins, but I know they don't have a regular starting right tackle, and the emphasis that D'Amico Ryans puts on the defensive line is like no other. That's why even though they need a corners, I have them drafting 2 corners and a safety, but I think they start up front.
Well, that's a pretty good place to start. I tell you what, I'm excited to see the Texans. But as a guy that covers the Texans, John, what do you do tonight? What are you watching for? Is there anything in particular with the Texans? They don't have a first-round pick. So what is John McClain? How do you watch the draft tonight?
I'm watching it as a fan because the Texans aren't going to do squat, so they're not doing anything, so I'm not writing. I'll write a column for HoustonTexans.com tomorrow based on the players, where I think they fit, how do they fit. You know, they've signed 16 defensive free agents. Now, not all of them are going to make the team. I like that they've signed some to 1-year make-it deals like they did Sheldon Rankins. Last year, he played well at defensive tackle. They offered him a $2 million raise. The Bengals gave him a $4 million raise, so he's in Cincinnati. And so I think tonight, and just be a fan and get serious tomorrow because I actually have to work. My wife said, you keep telling people you're not working today and you're on like your 7th talk show. I said, well, I'm like Joe and Jason. I'm stealing when I'm getting paid for money to talk football.
Don't say that out loud, especially knowing how much we don't pay you. John McClain from HoustonTexans.com joining us here on the Blitz. So, as you said, the Texans probably aren't going to do squat tonight. But the draft is going to be a lot of fun, a lot of drama. I expect quarterbacks to go with the first 3. Arizona, do they take Marvin Harrison Jr. or do they trade there? I think that's really where the draft begins tonight. But looking at some of the stuff that I've read today, kind of feels like it's going to be a very trade-heavy draft. What kind of chaos do you anticipate tonight?
I don't anticipate anything till the 5th pick when the Chargers, who need an offensive tackle and a receiver, can trade down with Minnesota for the Vikings' 2 first-round picks and still get a really good offensive tackle and wide receiver with Jim Harbaugh's first draft with them. And I'll tell you something else. The Cowboys, I know they're talking about bringing back Zeke Elliott on a 1-year deal, but if I have a chance to get Brooks and let him heal from his torn ACL from UT, if he's there, they should take him in the second round, because that's going to be a steal, because he would have been maybe not Bijan Robinson, who had no blemishes on his resume last year, but he would have been close, and I think that'd be a great move for the Cowboys. Take an offensive tackle for the first round and see if they get Brooks in the second.
We know a lot of mocks have had it like that. The other name that's been mentioned is the kid from Florida State, Trey Benson. So I think they are going to go running back. I mean, at least I hope so, whether Zeke comes back or not. I mean, that's got to be There's certainly a need for those guys. I just never know what Jerry Jones is going to do. If there's some shiny little diamond hanging there at 24, you just never know, John.
All I know with Jerry in the draft is he's going to be all in.
All into what is the real question? That's the question. You know, who's not all in on winning this year is the Houston Astros. They've now lost 12 of 15. Blew a game today. They had a 1-0 lead to the Cubs. They lost 3-1. What the hell is going on with Houston? That's not a bad roster. It's not a bad team. Why aren't they able to win, John McClain?
They brought all their people back, and people say, well, they had 6 pitchers on the injured list, and that's fine. But the guys that are healthy are not producing. The back of the bullpen, Josh Hader's been awful. Ryan Presley's been awful. Brian Abreu's been awful. And last year, all 3 of them were great. But then they messed with the chemistry, bringing in Josh Hader. And Jose Abreu, the only guy in the major leagues hitting worse than Jose Abreu, Martin Maldonado.
It's awful. Can we fire the manager before we get to May?
I feel sorry for Joe Espada, but I'm thinking he interviewed for 6 jobs and he didn't get them, and now I'm starting to see why.
You know, I hate that, though. The manager, he's not up there hitting. He doesn't throw a pitch. He doesn't do anything. Now, is he making some managerial errors, in your opinion, John?
Yes. He's like Josh Hader came in 5 times early in the season. None was a safe situation. And he never comes in except in safe situations. He only pitches 1 inning. So they're so discombobulated. I told Mattress Mac, he does all those deals, buy $4,000 worth of furniture. Astros win the World Series. You get it free. I told him on our weekly video this week, I got a new promotion for you. Buy $4,000 worth of furniture. The Astros finish out of last place. You get it free.
Good idea. Did he take you up on it?
He's thinking about it.
Yeah. Hey, he's not going to do that kind of promotion until July, maybe. It's still too soon. Because, you know, he knows how to hedge his bets. That's for sure, the great Mattress Mac. John McClain, HoustonTexans.com. I'm sure you'll be tweeting at McClain_on_NFL throughout the first round of the draft. Enjoy tonight, because tomorrow I know you're going to be busy. Appreciate you jumping on with us today. And, my friend, glad you're out of the hospital and feeling better.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much, and enjoy the draft.
John McClain on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond. Online at buyersbarricades.com. We are 30 minutes away from our draft coverage here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. We are exactly 90 minutes away from the Chicago Bears going on the clock. And a couple hours after that, Jerry Jones will be on the clock. We'll ask you as we close out the show, what do you want Dallas to do? What do you think Dallas will do? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. And I want you to come join us here at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road, because you know over the past decade, the Roo Pub has proven to be the place to watch any big game, any big event. Tonight you've got the draft, plus you've got NBA playoffs on. Come watch them here on those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around, and show up hungry. Joe and I were here for lunch. He had a cheeseburger. I had the fried shrimp. Greg Shelton went with the boneless wings. It's all fantastic here. Great chicken sandwich, about 15 different burgers on the menu. And they got the biggest and best wings in town. Great appetizers. Pledge tells me the salads here are wonderful. And the kitchen, open late till 2 a.m. every day with the full menu available. So when you need that late night meal, don't go to a drive-thru. Get into the Roo Pub here at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the big blind right next to the Angry Elephant. We'll see you at the Roo.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ.
Fiesta Friday on the Morning Huddle. Post-draft day 1, did the Cowboys get what you were after, or did they get what Jerry was after?
Plus, who across the NFL did the best and who did the worst? We have all of the answers, all of the takes, and all of the grades. The Morning Huddle starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with Rob and RJ. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for Prize Picks. It's America's #1 sports fantasy act. 3 million players. Yes, I'm a member. You should be too. Download it now and remember the code Alamo, and you can get a deposit match of up to $100. Basketball is balling, baby. Football is coming. Baseball is swinging. It is time to go to Prize Picks because you put your fantasy knowledge into action. You know more. You know your less. You know who's better or not. You know what's going on. You're a fantasy player. Put that knowledge to work. I have, along with so many others. And right now, remember the code Alamo, and you can get a $100 deposit match right now. Go download Prize Picks. We love watching Connor McDavid, Jude Bellingham, LeBron James. They are playing go more or less. It's so easy to do, and now's the time to go. You know when it's more. You know when it's less. And when you pair them together, you can win big, big bucks, up to 100 times your money. More, less, Prize Picks, Alamo. Go there.
Hi, my name's Jason Thompson. I've lived in San Antonio for more than 50 years. Went to grade school, high school, and graduated from law school right here. San Antonians have trusted me as their attorney after serious injury and fatality collisions since 1994. My website is alawyerforus.com. Why a lawyer for us? Well, after several years of practice, I watched as insurance companies created their own law firms solely to defend against auto claims. Today, there are very few insurance companies that do not have their own captive law firm filled with attorneys whose job is to minimize what the insurance company has to pay on an auto claim. If you or a family member is injured in a traffic collision, you will need your own attorney. Just remember alawyerforus.com. For many lawyers you see on billboards, your case will be handled by a non-lawyer or a staff lawyer. If you call me, Jason Thompson, I will be the lawyer you speak with. The initial consultation is always free. If you or a family member needs an experienced attorney, an attorney you can trust, I want you to call me, Jason Thompson. My number is 900-0400. That's 210-900-0400 or alawyerforus.com.
From the George Salinas Personal Injury Attorney Studios, you're listening to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. He's Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix, live here at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. We get done at 6 o'clock. That's when ESPN Radio's draft coverage will take over here on the Star. and, of course, on your TVs all tonight, whichever network and program you decide to watch. I do think as we get into it, first four go chalk, or first three go chalk. Maybe Arizona takes Marvin Harrison. Talking with John McClain, he thinks at 5 with Harbaugh, he really is a wild card early in this draft.
Yeah, but I think he loves offensive linemen. And I think he wants to build that offensive lineman. It makes sense. You keep Justin Herbert upright. And but they've got to get some weapons, too. Mike Williams gone. Keenan Allen gone. So they need some wide receivers as well. There's a lot of needs on that Chargers ball club. So it will be interesting to see what they do. But I think he'll start out with a fat guy and start to build that offensive line to protect his quarterback.
Well, not only that, but Harbaugh likes to run the ball. Yeah. And, it's interesting that you get a coach that likes to run as much as Jim Harbaugh does, who inherits a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who doesn't seem to like to hand it off. You know what I mean? Yeah. It will be interesting to see how that part of it plays out. And, just looking at all the variety of mock drafts, and I am mocked out. I mock draft out because, we're at that point where, we have no idea, because I do expect so many trades. And, earlier in the show, we were talking with Q Myers he does all the radio shows in Las Vegas, and he covers the radios, and you also hear him ESPN nationally at night on game night, and in for Greeny today, and he's going to be in for Greeny tomorrow from 10 to noon. But his main focus is the Las Vegas Raiders, to cover the Cowboys for ESPN Waco up there in Central Texas. Michael Penix is such an interesting player in this draft when you think about the injuries that he's dealt with. And I've seen Michael Penix play live in person a couple of times in the Valero Alamo Bowl and at the Apple Cup last year, Washington versus Washington State. And I'll go back to what I said when Texas played Washington in the bowl game this year in the playoffs. If you can get Michael Penix off his spot, he loses his accuracy. That's not his game. Guy's got a cannon when he's got time and he's on schedule. But he's dealt with so many injuries, and that's why he's as old as he is, and at this point in the draft, and not considered one of those top 5. But his experience level, talking to Q Myers, the Raiders would love to have a guy like Michael Penix. I know a lot of Cowboy fans would love to have a guy like Michael Penix if he is available at number 24.
Yes, they would.
Or a Bo Nix, another guy that's a little bit older, well-traveled, but is that better? I look at teams like Atlanta and New Orleans. If they were to draft a quarterback in the first round, knowing that quarterback would sit for at least 2 years, that's the best of both worlds, isn't it? Draft a quarterback when you want one, not when you need one.
Well, sure, and I think if they do that, it'll be late. Atlanta needs defensive help. They've got the offensive weapons, and I think they're going to be a pretty good squad. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they win that division this year. But I think defense is where they need to go, and I think that might be a focus for them. Michael Penix, his stock has risen dramatically just over the last couple of weeks. And I don't know what GMs are seeing and what the case may be. But, look, the Raiders would like Jaden Daniels. That's not going to happen unless they pull off some kind of big trade with Washington, and I don't see that happening. So, Michael Penix available when they draft, I think they snag him, and they need a quarterback. Yeah. So, I think that's a good spot for him.
And for you Cowboy fans that are thinking quarterback, and I bring him up with the Raiders being at 13, we keep talking about, do the Cowboys move back? What if the Cowboys moved up?
Well, I mean, that would tell us everything we need to know about number 4. That's for sure, because if they did that and snagged a quarterback, I think that's the end of Dak and certainly Trey Lance as well. Clarence Hill Jr. was on with us earlier in the show and talking about that, and he's going to say, Jerry said, we've already drafted a quarterback. We spent a 4th-round pick with San Francisco to get Trey Lance. They got to – I have to believe that they're going to see what they've got with this guy. So if they draft a quarterback tonight, I would be shocked, because I think they're going to want to see what they've got with Trey Lance, see how he performs in the preseason, and then go for there and decide if he's going to be the future or do they have to go somewhere else? But it's going to be interesting, I think, Jason, just the fact that we'll actually get an idea of what the Cowboys are thinking, at least when it comes to Dak Prescott.
Well, absolutely. And that's, I think, the beauty of tonight. For an offseason of inactivity for the all-in Dallas Cowboys, tonight we'll have an idea of what that offseason plan is, or their plan for the 2024 Dallas Cowboys football season. We know what Jerry and Steven have been saying, and it's obvious that the one thing that we do know is what Jerry said the other day. This roster currently as it sits does have a lot of promise.
Yeah.
But also Dak Prescott's going to get paid and have diminished talent around him. Can you still achieve your goal with that? Call me a homer all you want. I'm not in the boat that Jerry only cares about winning or about making money. I believe Jerry does care about winning and whatever it would take to go win a Super Bowl. But this offseason does not show me the owner that all he cares about is going to win a Super Bowl. And it's the first time in a long time that I think I could say that and believe it. Yes, he wants to make money, but he always makes money regardless.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones wants to win a Super Bowl before he dies. He wants to win a Super Bowl without Jimmy Johnson. I know that. I believe that. It's not all about making money for Jerry Jones. It's about winning. And this offseason doesn't show me an owner and general manager that is all about winning, despite him saying all in.
Yeah, it's going to be funny if we're sitting here, well, not next year, but in January, February, and maybe Jerry will be right. Maybe he'll be proven right that the players that he had promise. He went with them. They stepped up. They played. And the Cowboys back in the playoffs and make a nice run. We'll see. There's always that hope. I mean, we won't know until they hit the field in September.
I've got a video on the San Antonio Sports Stars socials on Instagram. Some of the questions or some of the answers to the question, what do you think the Cowboys will do or what do you want them to do? Cowboys need a new owner and GM, period. That isn't going to help. D. Smooth says OL help and or secondary, which I find interesting. Nick says kicker in the first round, calling it now.
Kicker, yeah.
Well, and again, they're solid. They're set on kicker. We know that Aubrey is just fine on kicker. So yeah, they certainly don't need to do that. But it does, looking at some of the comments and different things like that, offensive line, which is what I want. But the more I think about what I want and the Cowboys, the more I think I'd actually be surprised if they did get us a 10-year starter type on the offensive line. If there's a receiver like that, and again, going with what Jerry has told us, I don't know that I'd be mad at a wide receiver, but man, those scouts and that coaching staff better be spot on that those offensive linemen that we've heard about that they've drafted, the Waleskos and the Richards and the Bass and the Hoffman, those guys better truly be ready to go.
We're all in with these young guys coming up.
There you go. And the young guys that they're going to draft tonight. Hopefully this draft and the picks that they make this weekend will be a lot better than the picks they made last year at this time. I can safely say I think that at least 3 of those guys were not good. And your first and second round picks and then your, 6th round pick. So they got to do better. They have to do better this year.
Last year's draft was awful. Now, after year 1, it was awful. It was a failure last year. That doesn't mean that Mozzie Smith can't develop into the guy that they thought they were drafting, but you had minimal impact on your on your draft from a year ago with all of the picks, not just your first round pick. Minimal impact. What they do tonight and this weekend have to be guys that have immediate impact, period.
They have to. I mean, they have to. It's to that point, and especially what they've done. Look, they're going to add some pieces after the draft. There will be some pieces that come in, some guys that come in, but they're riding with what they've got. They feel good about it. They're riding with what they've got. They'll ride with what they pick this weekend overall. And we'll see if Jerry's right or if the fan base is right. Fan base certainly doesn't agree with Jerry Jones, but they're going with it. He's staying with it, and we'll see what happens.
It's only taken damn near 30 years for the fan base to be this out on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I say that in a sense that, even in those glorious Chan Gailey years or the Dave Campo years or even Wade Phillips, and I know they had some good teams in there, but it's draft day and you're thinking Cowboys and Super Bowl. Cowboys and Super Bowl. Last couple of years, Cowboys and Super Bowl. This year, you don't hear that. And is reality slapping Cowboy fans in the face? The idea that they haven't been able to get it done with teams that look like they should get it done, whether you're talking about Tony Romo and Des Bryant years, Des caught it, or what you saw last year, a 12-win team. Dak put up ridiculous numbers, second in MVP voting, yet they crapped the bed against Green Bay in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was some slimy diarrhea, wasn't it?
And again, it's one thing. Yeah, slimy diarrhea is exactly it. I mean, all over that squiggly box. And I think the difference is it's one thing to lose to a San Francisco team in a tight game, whether it was at home or on the road, where you knew you had two really good football teams going head-to-head and say the better team won, right?
Yes.
I still don't know that any of us truly believe that Green Bay was the best football team on that Sunday at Jerry World. But overall, if they were to play again, what would the outcome be? And how does the Cowboys team collectively, it wasn't just one or two players, collectively, they were all trash in that game, to lose to a team that you don't think is better than you? And Cowboy fans haven't gotten over that. And I think that surprises Jerry Jones. As defensive as he was on Tuesday during that press conference, it's one thing to get bounced by a 49er team and go, yep, tip your cap. But to lose to a team that you think is lesser than, it's hard to overcome that.
You know why I think fans, Jason?
All in.
Because everything just fell into place for the Cowboys.
Yep.
Fans' hopes were higher than anything, and that collapse was as hard as anything. And I think that's the difference.
Well, the NFL draft is tonight. There's a lot going on this weekend. Let's do What's on Tap.
The Blitz wants you to know what's on tap. Presented by Sam's Burger Joint.
It is time for What's on Tap, brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint. Go online, samsburgerjoint.com, where you can get your tickets to all the shows, see their full calendar and their menu. They've got the String Man performing tonight, the music of Neil Young. Tomorrow night, Alice in Chains, a tribute to Alice in Chains. Tell Me the Tales there on Saturday night. Sunday night, Kings of the New Ground and the Night Miles. Again, samsburgerjoint.com.
Other things going on tonight, of course, the Fiesta Carnival continues at the Alamo Dome. Riders in the Sky at Stable Hall tonight. The Missions playing the Wichita Wind Surge tonight. And, of course, right here at the Roo Pub, you can come out here and watch the draft. First round action tonight. Brontex Theater has Terry Clark. Bianca Del Rio, Dead Inside Comedy Tour at the Topin Center, and the Cowboys Dance Hall has Randall King.
And don't forget La Semana tonight as it returns. They've got the Toadies playing tonight.
Wow.
That's going to be a hell of a show, but the draft is going on. I'll miss it. Friday night, wow, this is going to be a great show. Saint Motel playing at the Stable Hall at the Pearl. That should be a hell of a show.
Yeah.
The World Ballet Series, Swan Lake with live orchestras at the Majestic Theater. I know Craig Shelton already has front row tickets for that. Blackberry Smoke at Flores Country Store. Jack Ingram at ACL Live. Bad Bunny is playing at the Booty Center in Austin tomorrow night.
Boy, that'll be something. How about John Wolfe on Saturday night out at Green Hall? That should be a good show. Flores Country Store has Clay Hollis. Bad Bunny performing again at the Moody Center on Saturday night. A couple of shows there. Los de Estas Noche at the Stable Hall at the Pearl, and the Toasters at Vibes Underground.
Yeah, lots going on this weekend. What's on Tap brought to you by Sam's Burger Joint. They are online at samsburgerjoint.com. You know what else we do about this time every Thursday?
Grilling with the Blitz. presented by Tri-County Meat Market.
We tell you every week, you know you're grilling. You know you're taking photos of that great meat on your grill. Take those photos, you put them on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. Upload them to sasportstar.com, the Grilling with the Blitz page, because Ryan Eagle loves to judge your meat.
I do.
So do I. And
Some
then we
good
give
meat
away
to judge today.
a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market. And tell you what, not one, but two tomahawks were on the grill. Josh, 36-hour Tuscan marinade tomahawk, salt and pepper rub, cast iron seared at 25 minutes, and then rested. Then he cooked off each side.
Dude, those look fantastic.
Dude, in his presentation and his photos, I mean, the steaks look good, and he even put the rosemary out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he really doctored them up.
That's magazine quality right there.
Let's not get carried away, but it is quality enough to win yourself a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market's Huebner Road location. So, again, if you're doing some grilling this weekend, you're doing some steaks, you're doing some Tommies, make sure you take those photos and upload them to the Grilling with the Blitz page at sasportstar.com.
We're just about there, Minix.
We are just about there. All right, we got about 2 minutes left in the show. No extra innings with Pledge today because of our draft coverage here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. With the 24th pick, what do the Dallas Cowboys do?
I think they're going to end up drafting the kid Guyton out of Oklahoma. That's who I think. That's been consistent I've seen. I think it's a good pick. Good player, and so I like Guyton.
You like Guyton. I think the Cowboys will trade back to 30-31, somewhere in there, and end up with the center out of Oregon.
All right.
And pick up a 4th-round pick by doing that. I really think they're going to end up with that center. Partly, I think both Mims and Guyton are going to be gone. You know, there's going to be that run. There's going to be some chaos in there.
If that's the case, then I think your scenario fits. They should move back. If both of those guys are gone, they would be better off doing that. Here's what I hope to see tonight, Minix. Roger Goodell, as soon as the broadcast starts, go to the podium. We don't need a 5-minute countdown for the Chicago Bears.
We're going to get 15 because we're going to get features on Caleb Williams.
Jeez, just go to the podium. Everybody knows the pick.
All right, well, they might do that with Caleb. But then we're going to get all the features on Caleb Williams, and it's going to take forever till we get to the number 2
Well,
pick.
that's fine.
Well, why is that fine?
Because that's fine. At least the show started. We know. I mean, I wish the Bears could just throw up
You worked in TV for 25
Caleb
years,
Williams.
my friend. All those packages that were worked on, you've got to show those. That's why the first round is tonight, takes forever. Tomorrow night, it will move a little bit faster because there's a little bit more unknown.
Just get to it.
Just get to it.
Then you can run all the packages you want. Then nobody should be doing any packages on Caleb Williams.
Well, there's going to be lots of packages on Caleb Williams. Then on Jaden Daniels. Then on the catch-up on your steak dude, Drake May. The draft starts next here on 94.1.
Riding 410 with the Blitz.